Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Clayton Ridge High School here, the Edco Vikings, and the Clayton Ridge open up today. Joining me, Dan McLean. Dan, it's hot and humid here, 82 degrees right now. We've got lightning off about 20 miles away, but it's the season opener.
And a good matchup here tonight between Clayton Ridge and Edco. Clayton Ridge has dominated the last two games. They've graduated a lot of seniors out of a great class last year. Edco hoping to stay close early and see what happens in the second. Sophomore quarterback for Clayton Ridge will carry the load early. Jace Moore played a little bit last year in the matchup between the two teams. Threw one pass, ran a couple times for 5 yards. Edco comes back with a little more experience than they've had in the last couple of years. Their problem is it's been in the past is they just don't have a lot of people to suit up and put on the face mask to get in and out. And when the temperature's 85 out at game time in late August, that may wear and tear on them a little bit in the second half.
The Vikings average about 8 players per grade now, so they do have 8 seniors out, which is more than what they've had in the past year. The Vikings will be kicking off from our right to our left, wearing their white tops with black pants, black helmets with the Viking logo on the side. On the other side, it's Clayton Ridge. Clayton Ridge in their black uniforms with their gray numbers, the silver helmets. We're right next to the Mississippi River here.
Beautiful stadium. It's been open 5 years now. Has an 8-lane track around it and grass field and good seating for both the visitors and the home team.
Sawyer Hamlin kicks off for the Vikings. Is going to bounce back to about the 15 and then rolls right around. Took a left turn and rolled out of bounds.
That's what you want on the first play of the year is a penalty.
So what is a pretty good position there? All rolled up by about a couple of feet there. So, a couple more feet there. They'd be headed down on the 15-yard line. So we're going to mac it out here. And so the Vikings will be on defense here. There's no wind here. Actually, it feels like it's 85. Points 69 right now. Humidity 65.
In other words, it's pretty warm out.
It sure is. I'd say it's hot. If there's uniforms down there. Twins to the left, wide out to the right in the backfield. A single back stand. Vikings with a 5-man front. Roll out to the right side. Stands up, pumps once, plenty of time. Throws it back across the middle. Going to be caught. Reception. That's J.C. Moore with the pass. Quarterback.
Nathan Palmer with the reception.
And so the tackle by Amling, but first and 10 here. So that's a pickup of about 18. So first and 10 for Clayton Ridge.
And a nice use of the pocket by Moore. Didn't have his first guy rolled back out and hit the 18-yard pass. Palmer.
Going from our left to our right, hand off to the tailback off right side, right guard tackle gap. Gets up 5.
Ratstetter the ball.
Ratstetter nice and tall there.
75 in on the tackle. Trevor Holsington.
6'2" senior is Colton Ratstetter. So let's take a look here. The quarterback is a sophomore, J.C. Moore. In the backfield, it's Colton Ratstetter. Then his running back, the fullback, is senior Dayton Heinrich, that is. Twins to the left, wide out to the right, single back in the backfield, 5-man front to the Vikings. Drop back to pass. It's going to be pass, the slot pass, going to be incomplete.
And threw it over the intended receiver's head. That was 22 for Clayton Ridge. 22 would be the quarterback. Palmer was the intended receiver.
Third down now and 5 from the 42-yard line with 11 minutes to go here in our first quarter.
And Easton Cook, a wide receiver for Clayton Ridge, comes in with the play. 2 passes, 1 run so far for Clayton Ridge on their opening drive of the year.
Ball in near hash mark, wide out to both sides. Clayton Ridge going to our left to our right, 2 backs to the backfield. Motion by the wide out to the left, comes to the right side. Toss back to the tailback on the outside, cuts it up the middle, and he's going to pick up about 3 on the play. It's going to be 4th down and about 3.
So an early decision for Clayton Ridge. They punt and try to pin Edco back, or they go for it here on 4th and 2. Chad Harbaugh at the helm will make the call for Clayton Ridge.
Ratstetter. 4th down and 3 now, and it looks like they're going to be possibly in punt formation. Jogging back there is Ratstetter. He's standing back about 10 yards. And Edco stands back deep to return Seth Hager, a 5'8" junior, so it will be a punt. high kick.
Not very far.
Not very far at all, but it's not going to even take a lateral bounce and they down it. So that kick goes all of 16 yards with no return.
Mason Palmer swatted it down as it started to roll back towards the Clayton Ridge team. So now Edco with their first chance.
So Edco, 1st and 10 here to begin this season. They've got some high hopes here for tonight. I know that talking to Coach Rochford that the Vikings have got some goals here. They're trying to get to the playoffs here for the first time in a while. They picked up their first win last year after a losing streak, and now they're coming back here. They've got 8 seniors out there, got 8 juniors, and they're starting to get things turned around a little bit.
And they struggled a little bit last year. They were inexperienced and didn't have any numbers. Now they've leveled off a little bit with experience.
Ball on the far hash mark. And off to the left side. The pickup of 2 on the play.
Looks like Jamie Nefsker with the run, and that picked up a couple.
Bit of a wildcat, I believe. 2nd down and 8. A pistol there. So 2nd down and 8 now for the Vikings. Looks like Clayton Ridge has got the Vikings outmanned up front as far as size goes. Those tackles look awfully big.
Collapsed the linebacker that time in on the stop for Clayton Ridge.
Again, a short snap here. And off the a little bit of a reverse up the left side, and they smother that one right away. They're staying home for Clayton Ridge was Colton Rastetter again, ambling with the carry from the around, came around from the right side. And so it brings up now 3rd down, a loss of 1. 3rd and 9, and with 9:20 to go in our first quarter.
And we'll see if Edco's content keep it on the ground or try to pick it up through the air. I think mistakes will probably be Edco's undoing if they come undone. So I think a fairly conservative game plan will be seen tonight from Edco, at least early.
2 backs to the backfield. Behind the quarterback, handoff left side it goes. They pick up a 3 on the play.
79 in on the tackle. That's Thomas Meyer for Clayton Ridge, and he'll bring up 4th and 7.
So Braden with the handoff, quarterback, 4th down and 7 now. And so I imagine Edco will be punting here. So both teams look like they've had to punt here on their first possession.
Edco pretty conservative. Clayton Ridge mixed it up, completed 1, incomplete 1, and ran the ball a couple times.
Standing back at the 15-yard line. This is a low spiraling kick. It's got some distance on it. Recaught back at the 32. Return up the far left sideline. Now across the 50. Down to the 40, the 35, the 30. And running into a couple of Vikings around the 20-yard line. So that is a 48-yard return, punt return. And so a 48-yard punt return, and Guttenberg, or Clayton Ridge, that is back in some really good position here at the 19-yard line.
And Rastetter with a great block on Joseph Meisner. The kick was too low, a line drive, didn't allow the defense to get down the field. Meisner, the only one that got down the field, but Rastetter took him out, broke the long return. Good field position now for Clayton Ridge.
Ball on the far hash mark, motion by the right receiver on the right side. Quarterback keeper rolls around the right side, possibly an option. He does option it. They turn it up the near sideline. Inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line.
Pick up of about 4 on a slow-moving option play that Moore pitched at the last minute. Rastetter able to hit the corner and go for 4 yards. Tackle by 33, Jamie Nefsker.
7:48 to go here in our first quarter. No score here from Clayton Ridge High School down along the Mississippi River. We got a brief view of the Mississippi across the way. Wide out on the right side, ball near hash mark out of the I formation. Under center, the quarterback, Jason Moore. And off right side it goes inside the 10, tripped up and knocked out of bounds at about the 8.
Rastetter with about a 9-yard gain that time. It was pretty tight in the middle. He cut it outside and picked up the second first down for Clayton Ridge.
Junior Mike Jones with the tackle. So it's 1st and goal to go from the 6-yard line with 7:24 to go here in our first quarter.
And the offensive line for Clayton Ridge appears to be much bigger than the Edco line.
Wide outs to both sides out of the eye, ball in the near hash mark. Under center, the quarterback stands. Snap, left side it goes, wide open inside
Touchdown.
the end, touchdown untouched. Huge hole there for Colton Rastetter. 6 yards out.
And Clayton Ridge on the board with 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
That one looked too easy. That we could see from the angle up here that he had a good 2 feet on both sides of the hole. It was untouched with the run from 6 yards out. And it looks like they're going to be going after the point after attempt here. Raster will be kicking into the south end zone. That kick is blocked.
And Raster kicked left-footed. I think he punted right-footed, didn't he?
I think he did too. I would have noticed. I don't remember him kicking it. So Meisner with the block. And so it will be 6-0 here as the Vikings get their second possession. We'll take a break and come right back. You're listening to 94.7 FM KMCH.
Bob Stephen Motors in Manchester proudly supports all area athletes. Bob Stephen Motors is your locally owned and operated GM dealer in Manchester. Check them out on their web at bobstephenmotors.com.
A great night out awaits you at Hartridge Golf Course. Join us for Taco Tuesday and our Thursday night specials featuring roasted chicken. Watch the Iowa games with 50-cent wings and drink specials at Hartridge, north of Manchester on 195th Street.
Farmers Savings Bank offers excellent service with convenient office hours, telephone banking, and online banking. Farmers Savings Bank with locations in Colesburg, Elkport, Garber, Strawberry Point, Arlington, and Aurora. Farmers Savings Bank, it's all about you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Northeast Iowa Telephone Service in Manchester has everything you need to stay connected. Northeast Iowa Telephone has a staff of professionals available to help you get connected, from the installation of your new entertainment system to cable and data wiring in your home or business. Northeast Iowa Telephone Service is your sight, sound, and electronics connection on South Franklin Street in downtown Manchester.
Do you suffer from chronic or acute pain? Long-Term Medical Supply now offers pain.
25 up the middle, 25 to 30, the 35. Return of about 21, so some pretty good field position for Edco.
Nice return there. Ball and covered up both hands, and he just lowered his head, and Hager drove it out to about the 35.
So first and 10 Edco with 6:55 to go here in our first quarter. Across the way, you've got a bleacher. And, I'd say it's about 3/4 filled.
Sure.
Got some fans on the sideline.
Campground to the south, river to the east.
Motion left side it goes. Inside it goes off the right side. Paul bounces it outside, out to about the 45-yard line. Actually, the 40, pick up a 5. So a little bit of misdirection there. Take the dive, and the ball coming around was Amling. And they're looking for Amling to come up with some big numbers this year.
And he just limped off.
That's not a good sign.
Not a good sign for Edco. Not, as deep as they want to be, and losing your best running back forever how long won't be a good thing.
Certainly not. Here, not your second possession here. Not on a human night like it is right now. Second down and 5 from the 41. 6:19 to go in our first quarter. Clayton Ridge on top, 6-0. Two backs in the backfield. Hand off second man two on the far right side. Turns around the right side. And he gets the first down.
That's number 24, Joshua Hines.
Josh Hines, 6 foot, 190-pound senior, picks up the Vikings' first down of the year. Vikings sure they can move the ball around the outside. Don, you mentioned earlier, I think Clayton Ridge does have a lot of size inside. They got a real size advantage inside.
Inside may not be available. Edco's trying to exploit the outside here a little bit on their second drive with their backup running back.
Nick Oldfather wide up to the left side right in front of us here. Motion from the right side to the left by the wide receiver. Fumble on the play, falling right back on top of it was Jamie Nefsker. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Actually picked up a couple of yards. So it brings up second down and 8.
And they're still fighting over the ball.
And they fell over. Oh, it sure looks like he fell on it. He was first man on it, but they're going to say they took it from him and the ball on the pile. A lot of things happen in those piles, don't they?
Dominic Knudsen, it looks like, was the one that came out with the ball on the scrum.
Got to cover that ball up. What he did was he came up and curled around it, but he didn't cover it. And that gave the Eagles an opportunity to slip a hand in there and yank it out of his hands. So turnover, Edco.
And with 5:41 now, Clayton Ridge gets the ball back. We talked about before the game the mistakes and the punt return and now this fumble. 2 mistakes in first 2 possessions for Edco.
Vikings show blitz, and they do blitz. Quarterback drops back to pass under pressure, breaks one tackle, then he's up, he tosses it back. And then a drop. Great pressure by Edco. a loss of about 8 on the play.
And Rastetter will say, that's not good for my stats. You know,
Sure.
an 8-yard loss.
Vikings guessed right on that. They sent both the outside linebackers, and they pinched in hard and met at the quarterback.
Trevor Hoisington again came roaring in, the sophomore, 5'8", or 6 foot, 270 pounder.
2nd and 19 from the Clayton Ridge 43-yard line. Clayton Ridge going from our left to our right here, as it gets to be near sunset here on the Mississippi. Wideouts to both sides out of the I formation. Vikings with a 5-man front, running a 5-4 it looks like, or a 5-2 depending on how you rule out the corners.
And the clock rolling on.
So here we go, 2nd down from the 43, out of the I. Fumble on the ensuing snap. And let's see how this one turns out. Quarterback pulled out a little bit too quick.
Fumble on the
And it looks like 16, Logan Domeyer gets the ball. Loss of 1.
Down and 19 with 4:40 to go here. It looks like the darker skies are starting to roll in.
And hopefully it's just nightfall and not weatherfall.
Wouldn't like to have too much of a delay here.
Although inside isn't always a bad place to be with rain.
No, not at all. Wideouts to both sides. Twins backs in the backfield. Vikings show blitz once again. They send both linebackers. And off the left guard tackle gap, slipping through. Picking up about 8 on the play was Rastetter once again here. That's Colton Rastetter, 6'2", 205-pound senior, doing run of the carrying tonight.
And Chad Moser, the 6'2", 245 senior, for Edco, made a nice ankle tackle to set up a punt situation.
4th down and 11 from the 49-yard line. 2 backs back to return the punt here, standing back at about the 10-yard line for the Vikings. In punt formation.
Well, that time it was high and end over end. Better punt this time.
A little bit more end over end. Going to be caught at the 15, up to 20, to 25, to 30, to 35. So a return of about 22.
And Sawyer Ambling back in. Looks good on that play. So took off whatever nick he got in the last series and is back in the game now.
Solid, 2 solid punt returns now for the Vikings. 3:30 to go here in our first quarter. The Vikings trail 6-0 to Clayton Ridge here. As
third possession, 6 plays for Edco so far, all on the ground. Gained a total of 13 yards on the 6 carries. They have 1 first down.
Ball in the near hash mark, wide out to the left side. Quarterback about 3 steps away behind the snap. Pitched it off the right side. Pick up a 3 on the play. It's now 2nd down and 7.
And it looks like Joshua Himes with that carry, kind of another counter play, trying to get the line to move one way and go the other way. And that picks up 4. Himes now with 9 yards on 2 carries.
Himes a 6 foot, 190-pound senior. So it's now 2nd down and 6 from the 46.
And as we head under the 3-minute mark, clock runs quick when you don't pass a lot.
It sure does. Wide out to the left side, single coverage here. Again, the quarterback about 3 steps behind the center, hand off right side. He goes off right guard tackle gap, and getting about half the distance to the goal is the first down mark. That's out to 45 is Himes, picks up 3 on the play.
And sets up a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, depending how they mark it.
3rd and 3 from the far hash mark with 2:33 to go here in our first quarter. Now, this is some yardage that the Vikings certainly can pick up.
Well, they've run the ball 8 times now. They've got 3 yards on 3 of the 8 carries. 5 of the 8 carries have been held to 1 or 2 yards or a loss.
Twins to the right side, wide out to the left side. The motion by the spot on the right side goes from right to left and hand off the back in the backfield. He's not going to get the first down.
Another counter play. This one was too slow to develop, and the Clayton Red defensive line just stood their ground, and Himes was dropped for no gain.
That wall of black uniforms just basically just pushed ahead, and that was it. So it's 4th down now and 2 from the 45-yard line. There's absolutely no breeze here. Wide out to the left side, and they're going to be a punt here, standing back at about the 32. Plenty of time. This one's going to be a nice high kick that's going to bounce way back at the 8. They might have touched it, actually. hard to say here. They pick it up and say, no, we did. Very, very careful. That almost could have been a touch.
And that was a great punt. It went from the 45, landed on about the 10. It'll be down to the 9. And we have a flag on the field. First time we've had a flag since the opening kickoff. So we'll see what comes to that. They don't have replay, but it was pretty close to being touched back there by Clayton Ridge.
That was one of those things. If it goes over your head, isn't the general rule if it goes over your head, to just let it go?
Right. And holding called on Clayton Ridge. So that'll march him back.
I'd like to thank these EDCO sponsors for making tonight's game possible. Community Insurance, Cornerstone Family Practices in Guttenberg Municipal Hospital, DMN Construction, Edgewood Auto and Tire, Edgewood Convalescence Home, Lincoln Wood Assisted Living, Edgewood Building Center, Traders Cash Supply, Edgewood Feed Mill, and Farmers Savings Bank.
EDCO now with a chance to pin Clayton Ridge back as they'll start with the ball on their own 5-yard line. 1:27 to go in the first quarter. This is the fourth possession for Clayton Ridge. Scored on their second possession when they started on EDCO's 20 after a long punt return. Everything else has been a 3-and-out or a 2-and fumble in one of the possessions for EDCO.
So Clayton Ridge with their heels in the end zone. Twins to the right side, wide out to the left side. The quarterback under center, that's J.C. Moore. Drops back, tosses it back in the backfield. Could be a safety. He slips the tackle in the backfield in the end zone and gets out to about the 4.
And 62, that's Josh Wergus had him wrapped up in the backfield. Rastetter wiggles out of it and is finally brought down by a host of EDCO players.
So second down and 10 here.
So no gain that time for Rastetter. That's his 8th carry.
Wide out to the ball side, ball in the near hash mark. Rastetter in the end zone. The quarterback standing at about the 4. Long count, drops back, hands off to Rastetter, off right guard tackle gap. Nowhere to go with it. And it's now third down and about 8 or 9.
And a nice tackle that time by Brady Kelly. The linebacker, sophomore, filled the gap and stopped Rastetter for about a 2-yard gain. Brings up 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8 here with under 30 seconds to go here in our first quarter.
It'd be interesting to see if Coach Harbaugh decides to pass from his end zone or is content with trying to get it on the ground, and then if you don't succeed, punting it away and letting your defense take over.
Wide out to both sides. That's still with 5 men up, 3 linebackers. Dropping back, handoff inside, right guard tackle gap. Breaks his tackle, then a second, got a first down. One man to beat here, has got an angle, so he caught it about the 30, breaks that tackle, and he's going to go in for the touchdown.
88 yards.
Broken tackle after broken tackle after broken tackle, and time expires here in our first quarter.
So a nice run that time by Jared Gerner. Gerner, the junior, goes 88 yards for the... Well, they're saying it's 92, but when you run from the 12, that would be 88.
Yeah.
The first and 10 marker was at the 8, and then
Yes.
the 3rd and
That's
8.
82.
So, yeah. So that'd be 82, because I think the field's 100 yards.
It's 100 yards.
Okay, good.
I concur.
All right, good. We'll
concur.
call it 88. Everybody should be happy anyway if you're a Clayton Ridge fan.
Plenty of missed tackles there. The Vikings had plenty of chances in that possession. Had a chance to stop them in their end zone with a safety. Rastetter broke that one out, and then this play was simply just off the right guard tackle gap. Broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage, broke a tackle in the secondary. One man to beat had the angle on him, and he slips away from it. Sawyer Amling. And
Backbreaker for EDCO. I have them stuck inside their 20, 3rd and 10, and all of a sudden away we go. And it's 88 yards and 3 or 4 broken tackles later. Now 12-0.
That is a tough break. Tough break for the Vikings as the clouds continue to roll in a little bit more color up there.
Lighten up tonight. Not a lot of orange, though. It's all grays and blues.
That's right.
It's okay as long as it doesn't go to black and yellows.
And, you know, we're up here. You know, you can sneak up on us. We're down in the valley. We got no idea what's behind it.
We're black and yellow tomorrow, though, on KMCH, right?
Right, or it's purple and gold.
Or purple and gold.
Or you can cheer for both, I suppose.
Yeah, purple sky'd be worse than black sky, I think.
That would be a tough one.
That would
be. Camera.
They'd be wishing they were playing in the Unidome if it gets that way tomorrow.
Maybe they could move it up there. So here we again. Let's take a look here. Again, let's thank these Edco sponsors for making tonight's contest possible. Community Insurance, Cornerstone Family Practices in Guttenberg Municipal Hospital, D&M Construction, Edgewood Auto and Tire, Edgewood Convalescent Home, Lincoln Wood Assisted Living, Edgewood Building Center, Traders Cash Supply, Edgewood Feed Mill, and the Farmers Savings Bank. And the point after attempt again would be attempted by our Rath Center.
Last one blocked.
Plenty of room for this one. It clears easily. And Clayton Ridge is up 13-0.
And that ends the extended first quarter play, scoring the touchdown as time expired.
Got to sneak one in there. So, warm night for football. Edco had their chances, and they still can come back here, but the Vikings have really got to show that they have to be able to move the football. We'll take a break and come back. You're listening to 94.7 FM, KMCH.
Long-Term Medical Supply, downtown Manchester, is a proud supporter of all local athletes. Shop their sports and orthopedic department for all of your athletes' medical equipment needs. Long-Term Medical Supply, your local medical equipment choice.
American Trust and Savings Bank wishes all area athletes and coaching staff continued success. American Trust and Savings Bank with locations in Dyersville, Farley, Dubuque, and Des Moines. Simply better banking. Check them out at americantrust.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
With MFL Marmac next week, then they start with Postville. They're at Maquoketa Valley, who's now moved down to Class A. They're at North Lynn. Then they're at Easton Valley. Or they host Easton Valley, then they're at East Buchanan, they host Lisbon, then they finish up the season at Starmont. So that conference, this district has gotten a little bit tougher with Maquoketa Valley moving down to Class A. But the Vikings, you look here, they could finish at least fourth in this conference and make a playoff berth. There's certainly no question about it that they've looked at the group.
Well, they certainly played well tonight other than two plays. The low punt that was returned and then the long touchdown run. So, well, it looks like it's a two-touchdown game, which it is. It's a result of two plays, not as a result of a domination, which it's been the last couple of years.
Raster doing the kicking again from our right to our left this time now as they switch end zones. Caught back at the 7, out to the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, and tackled at the 25, so a return of 18 yards. And returned by Seth Hager. Hager, 5'8", 145-pound junior. So it's now first and 10 for the Vikings as they're down by 2 scores here as to begin our second quarter. We're high enough here. We can see it well over the dike. There's some traffic on the Mississippi.
Some walkers along the walkway stopping to watch the game.
You get to get it for free from up there.
And you have to bring your own binoculars.
2 backs to the backfield, dropping back to pass for the first time across the middle, in and out of the hands of the receiver. Would have been good for a first down. Out across the middle at about the 10-yard line.
And throw a little behind him, a little low. It was a catchable ball. Edco opens up a little bit. They ran the counter fake, and the receiver cut across the middle. Had open lane, but wasn't able to pull the ball in on the first down play.
2nd and 10 from the 26 with 11:50 to go here in our first half. Clayton Ridge up 13-0. Rastetter with a 6-yard score, and then Jared with the 88-yard run as time expires. Motion by right to left. The quarterback hands off the fullback. Big hole up there. Vikings close to a first down. A little bit of a trap, it looked like, up front.
And on the tackle for Clayton Ridge, 22, the quarterback, Jace Moore, and 23, Mason Palmer.
Jamie Nesker, 170 pounds, 6-foot junior with that carry.
And they are giving it a first down, 10-yard gain, second first down for Edco here in the first half.
2nd down and 10 from the 31.
And that was a nice burst of speed that time by Nesker to get through the line. And once he was through, he had open lane to pick up the first down.
Explosive. Slot in the right beside goes in motion, and they hand off the slot man who gets tripped up. Hamlin gets tripped up in the backfield by penetration.
They're going to give him one.
So at the end of the first quarter, the
Vikings wearing, some of those Vikings are wearing gold shoes out there that every so often you look at, it looks like they've thrown a flag, but it's actually the gold shoe
Andrew Bergen that time on the tackle, the defensive. I guess you'd call him end, although he's not that big. He might be a linebacker in their scheme. It looks like he is. Looks like they have 3 down and then 2 wide. And
2nd and 9 from the 37 with 10:48 to go here in our first half.
10 on the line almost for Clayton Ridge, within at least 2 yards of the line. Blitz.
Quarterback rolls out back to pass, and he gets sacked. Fumble on the play. It is going to be a fumble. And they're going to say it's a fumble. Rolling back to pass.
So 7-yard loss.
Braden rolled out back and probably tried to throw it when he probably should just tucked it away and got hit. Ball rolled forward a little bit, but it's going to be another turnover.
And then Bergen on the hit to cause the fumble. Second fumble of the game for Edco, and it puts Clayton Ridge right back in business on the Edco side of the 50 at about the 28-yard line.
It puts a lot of pressure on your defense. Both linebackers look like they're going to blitz. The outside linebackers do fumble on the play once again here. This time Edco with the tackle in the backfield. Good
that
job.
Was like the fumble Ruski. They put it on the ground.
It almost looked like it, didn't it?
And it didn't work. Seth Hager.
Chad Mosier with the tackle, I believe.
Yeah, Mosier with the tackle. Rastetter with the run. Rastetter seems to be the workhorse for Clayton Ridge, at least here in the first half, although they've had some long runs from a couple other guys, particularly Gerner, who went to 88 yards for the last score.
2nd and 12 now from the 31. That Lightning's about 15 miles away here, but it's about over the hill, so you're probably not going to hear it for a while. Twins to the right side, twins to the left. Motion by the wide receiver on the left side, left to right here. Quarterback tucks it away. It's going to be a keeper. And there's going to be a flag thrown as the quarterback for Clayton Ridge, Moore with the keeper, makes up about 7 yards, but there's a flag thrown in the backfield.
And Moore, a really nice run that time. He eluded several tacklers, snaked through for the gain, but they're going to call a holding, I think, on Clayton Ridge. And it is. You know, I was watching the NFL the other night. And don't really like the NFL, and they had a screenshot that said what the enforcement's going to be this year, and one of them was defensive hands to the face. The next play, the defensive lineman came up, knocked the offensive lineman's helmet off.
Yeah.
The offensive lineman got up, took umbrage, threw the guy down, and got kicked out of the game. So I guess the second chance is more of the emphasis than the first. You know, sometimes you get as technical as you want.
So it's the second guy.
It's the second guy that gets it that time. There was some pushing and shoving, and a late flag came in for a holding.
Twins to both sides. Wide receiver goes from right to left. They toss it to the right receiver, tucks it up the middle, and goes. Spins and rolls and breaks a couple of tackles and gets the ball inside the 25-yard line. That's a pickup of about 16 on the play. Or 17, they say.
I had it for 15, so we're close.
9 minutes to go in the first half. The Vikings trail 13-0. Spinning and whirling. That was a nice run here. So the Vikings had a hard time picking up that motion.
And I think that was Simon.
Yes, it was.
And it brings up what now? 3rd down and 6.
3rd and 6 from the 25.
Or 3rd and 5, as they said on the scoreboard.
From the 25, the Vikings will still with a 5-3 defense. Quarterback drops back, rolls out to his right. Single coverage to the right side. Pylon goes out of bounds, incomplete into the end zone. Mueller, the receiver, falls out of bounds and rolls onto the track.
Mueller pretty open, although the ball came down on the track, so it would have been difficult to catch, although nice call by Coach Harbaugh there. Now he has a 4th down play. They're not going to punt it from the 30. He has a second chance here to pick up the 5 or 6 yards with 8:36 to go in the second quarter, already ahead 13-0. Clayton Ridge can open the playbook up a little bit here and try to pick up the 4th down on this 4th and 6.
Wide ups to both sides, out of the eye. The quarterback under center, motion by the wide receiver left to right. Toss back to the fullback, the tailback in the backfield. Off the left side, he's not going to pick it up.
And he fumbled.
So the Vikings take over on downs.
And Edco's recovery that time by Joseph Meisner. He wouldn't have the 1st down anyway, but it goes as a fumble recovery for Meisner. And a 1st down and 10 now for Edco.
So 1st and 10 for the Vikings. They trail 13-0. 8:30 to go in our first half. They haven't really threatened, although suddenly it's just gotten a whole lot darker.
Maybe it's night.
It's 7:33. I think it's a little early.
Maybe for August.
Equipment timeout down on the field here.
And Edco content to run the ball. They've run it all but one play. Well, they've thrown 2 incompletions the last time they got a sack, but knocked them way back.
And Clayton Ridge brings 3 linebackers up. Is scrambling to quarterback, rolls off to the left side and throws it out of bounds. Once he gets outside, there's somebody over there. He threw it out of bounds, but he wasn't outside where he needed to be.
And that'll be a grounding. I mean, he did it. It was a nice throw. It hit about the 4th lane of the track.
Am I right? Am I right on that? You got to be out of the hash marks.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he was or wasn't. He was rolling that way. He wanted to get there, but I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I think he ended up laying on the hash marks on the far side.
Yeah, he did, and he threw it. He didn't mask it very well. I mean, he let it rip. He thought he was hitting the guy on exchange on the 4x100.
Trying to throw it over the top of the dike there.
Yeah.
Hard to say which cars are here for the football game and which ones are here for the Mississippi.
Right, well, there's a campground to the south here, so I'm sure they're watching the weather. I parked over by the hall.
Did you?
Yeah. So Vikings take a timeout here with 8:22 to go, down 13-0, facing a 2nd and 25.
With that, we'll take a break, too. You're listening to 94.7 FM, KMCH.
Just like a great coach, State Farm agents like me, Julie Smith, can help you develop a game plan for your insurance needs. Whether it's car, home, life, health, or business insurance, I can dig into the playbook and help you find the affordable coverage you need. For all your insurance needs, call on a winning team, the Julie Smith State Farm Agency in Manchester.
As far north and Clayton of Luxembourg as you can possibly get here.
Well, and you'd almost have to have built it on the water if you were going to put it by the school. And that was probably not practical, although it'd be cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
An island football field.
It's flooding. Not too many fall floods, though.
No.
Right?
No, so big situation here, Fred. Go down 2 touchdowns. They want to go back much further. 2nd 22 after the intentional grounding penalty.
So 2nd and 22 with 8:22 to go in the first half. Ball sits on the 12. 2nd quarter. A lot of 2s on the board over there. The only one's not a 2 is the 13 points that Clayton Ridge has. Wide up to the right side. Counter play off left guard tackle gap. No gain on the play. Brings up now 3rd down. A little bit of a loss, actually. So it's 3rd down and 22.
And they ran away from us that time. Hines, the ball carrier that got tackled at about the line. So now 3rd and 22. And I don't know if Edco has the play in their book for that. I think it's going to be run and punt.
3rd and 22. I do remember a Packer game one year, though. 3rd and 37. They gave 37 yards up, and that was the end of their playoff, I believe. So there is a play in your playbook somewhere for it.
I think those are pro teams, though, that, get paid if they advance on. These guys go to practice Monday one way or the other.
3rd and 23 here, 7:35 to go in the first half. Quarterback rolls out the pass. There's going to be a screen pass left side. The receiver falls down and stops the clock, and it's going to be incomplete. It's now 4th down.
And threw it behind him. It was a nicely conceived play by Edco. I mean, that is their 3rd 22 play probably. Get Clayton Ridge to go to the left and throw it to the right, but the pass was too far to the right for Ambling to catch. And forces them into a punting situation. Clayton Ridge could pin their ears back here because it's 4th and 22. Even if you jump off sides, then it's 4th and 17.
Hunter is standing in the end zone. And they're going to look for a return here. It's a nice high kick.
Another nice punt
to
midfield.
Caught back in midfield, and he almost like he called a fair catch, but he just didn't. Then he goes down. Fumble on the play. Vikings are going to pick it up, and they do. So a great break here for Edco at midfield.
And a really nice strip there by Joseph Meisner.
Did a great job of getting a hand there and ripping it out like a crowbar. Terrific job. Return man seemed like he hesitated, didn't know what to do with it.
Well, I thought that was a nice move. He was letting them run by, and as he ran by them, they reached out the arm and grabbed the ball, and it came loose. And it was 5 Edco guys versus no one to recover that. So
First and 10 from the 43-yard line with 16 to go here. So the Vikings with some terrific field position here to start this drive. Wide up to the right side. Out of the pistol. Quarterback drops back, rolls to the right side, throws it across the middle. That one's almost intercepted by Ratstetter.
Receiver wasn't ready for it yet, hadn't looked back. That was Himes, number 24.
The Vikings really are playing Clayton Ridge even. It's just a couple of bad breaks. What it is, the missed tackles on that touchdown, that 88-yard touchdown. And it's just a couple of fumbles, and there should be 0-0.
Well, they're certainly way more competitive than they've been the last 2 years against Clayton Ridge. And they just need to click on a play. They need to have a little success, to get their emotion back up. This is a draw up the middle, flags before the play. That'll be waved off, I assume, procedure or offsides.
Which way it goes here. Offsides.
And against Edco, second penalty now for 10 yards, so it'll set up a second 15. One thing Edco needs to get away from is having it second and more than 10 yards. Last possession was second and 15. Now it's second and 15 as they have the ball on their own 38-yard line with 7:08 to go in the first half of the opening weekend of high school football on KMCH.
Memorial Day weekend, too.
Or Labor Day.
Labor Day, yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was.
Always get those.
I wish it was Memorial Day weekend. Out of your lips to my heart. Run up the middle that time by number 33, Jamie Nefsker. He'll pick up about 7. Bring up a third and 10.
Third and 10 here with 6:42 to go. Vikings just having a tough go going up the middle. Just really tough.
And now third and 10, and again, that's down in distance. I don't think Edco's really prepared for. They need to be in the third and 3s, third and 4s to have some success. First quarter, they had 2 first downs. They'll try to pick up their third one here with 6:20 to go in the opening half.
Ball between the hash marks, hand off to the fullback, tailback on the left side picks up 3, and it's now 4th down and 7.
That time, Harbaugh off the middle for 3, or Nefsker.
6 minutes to go in the first half.
That wasn't Nefsker, that was Harbaugh. 34.
4th down for Vikings.
And so 4th and 8, they're calling it.
Vikings have got some all-district recognition last year. Sawyer Amling, Chad Mosher, and
look at this. They're going for it.
Here we go. 4th down and 8. Dropping back to pass. Steps up across the middle. Got the pass off. Tipped once. Will be intercepted. So the interception by Alexander Simon, a 5'11", 160-pound junior. Almost like a punt. That was a good punt return. You had a chance at it.
And it was a open receiver, just a nice interception. They stepped in the lane, picked it off. Another turnover. That's 4 for the game, 2 on each team.
Edco A-ball, Clayton Ridge, 1A. Edco holding their own here in the first half. And the scoreboard goes out.
Well, that's all right. We had it all figured out anyway.
The officials, I wonder if they got their
it's
clock
13 to nothing. You have the time and the down and distance.
Yeah.
We will time in the food.
What if they're shutting down here? The lightning's not too far away. Well, they must have plugged it back in.
Ah, here we go. And they
Somebody,
have the right score.
somebody kicked out a plug somewhere. Now there it goes off again.
Yeah, they may have to keep this on the field. I'm telling you, though, I did that one. I refereed back in the day when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible. You know, you're trying to run a clock. You're trying not to get run over.
Oh, sure.
You know, every play. How much time's left?
Yeah.
You know, so I used to the coaches, well, about 20 seconds less than last time you asked me. You got to stop the clock. Oh, I did. Let me see your stopwatch. No.
Twist to both sides. Single back in the backfield here. 5:34 to go here.
As soon as possible. Amber Hall, thank you.
Now they're blaming the ambulance for the scoreboard.
Rolling out to the right side. Across the middle, going to be incomplete. Good defense there. Tipped away. So I wonder if that's a wireless scoreboard. And,
Right.
And if the receiver for the ambulance is probably disrupting that.
Joseph Meisner on the tip there for Edco sets up 2nd and 10. Clayton Ridge with their 3rd pass of the game.
So 2nd and 10 here as the scoreboard flashes on and off like a neon sign. 5:27 to go here in our first half.
And that's not distracting for the teams on the field. Well, particularly Edco, who's looking at the scoreboard.
5-3 defense ball in there, hash mark. Quarterback hands off right side, and they're going to be dropped. Nope, still down. Hard to bring down. They finally bring down Rastetter. Moore handed off to Rastetter, and 3 Vikings were in there. And they
one of them was 76. Small credit, except he's not in the scorebook. We don't have his name, so we'll just call him 76.
78 out there. 78's the other tackle. That's I'm looking for a big guy because he's got to be one of the
Chad
big
Mosier.
guys.
I mean, Mosier was there, but 76 was the one that swiped him down for the 2-yard loss.
76. I got Chad Mosier on 78. I don't know. Wide up twins to the right side, wide out to the left side. 2 backs to the backfield. Shotgun.
54, big try.
Here. And a pass right side is going to be caught. Good for a first down. Across midfield down to the Edco 35-yard line, so that reception of 20. 4:31 to go here in our first half.
Eartham, the receiver on the play. And again, a nice effort that time by Himes. He was the linebacker in coverage, but Mosier just put the ball right over his outstretched hands and went for the 20-yard gain and the first down. The 3rd first down for Edco.
So 1st and 10, Clayton Ridge.
Or Clayton Ridge.
From the 35, twins to the left side. Out of the I-formation again. J.C. Moore steps back, hands off to the full tailback, off the left guard tackle gap. Gets a little yardage, about 5, so it's now 2nd down and 5.
Refs that are tackled by a host of Edco players, including Brady Helly and Seth Hager.
4:20 to go in our first half as the scoreboard continues to do their fancy blinking.
Well, you have to look at it real quick to pick up what it's saying. Trying to make you pay attention. So Edco's defense seems to be swarming, getting to the ball pretty well. Much improved over last year. 44, Brady Helly having a good first half.
Wide up to the right side. Edco sends all 3 linebackers, and there's going to be a flag thrown.
Dawson Harbaugh may have jumped offside. He came rushing in right at the snap. Had a good jump, but he may have 2 good jumps.
3rd down now for Clayton Ridge.
Well, depending on the penalty.
Yeah. I'd almost maybe decline it. I don't know. 3rd down and 5.
Well, we'll see what it is. It could be offsides on the defense. Yeah. Edco as well. Oh, they're going to say it's a procedure penalty.
Okay.
And I think that was caused by Dawson Harbaugh. I mean, he had a great jump at the line, and I think the guard and tackle came up on the left side because they said, yikes, we better stop this guy. Well, he hit the line about when the ball was stamped, and the lineman jumped too early. 3rd penalty for Clayton Ridge for 24 yards. And the clock says 3:43 while it works.
At the 37-yard line, that's 2nd down, 2nd and 13. Linebacker blitz once again here. Quarterback a little bit delayed here, and he will be dropped for a 15-yard penalty. Fumble on the play, and the Vikings have recovered, it looks like. Yes, they have. Vikings, it's a tremendous
Joshua Himes,
run there.
Brady Helly came on the blitz. Himes hit him first, and then Helly cleaned up. Fumble was recovered by another defensive player for Edco. 3rd turnover now for
Vikings' best defensive set is bringing all 3 linebackers. That's when they've been most effective.
It will be until somebody breaks through the line on a running play. But that worked, it worked well.
So far it hasn't worked. I mean, it's worked fine.
Yeah, it worked well. That's
1st and 10 for the Vikings.
Penalty before the play.
And a penalty. All these penalties are probably going to go away for both teams next week. You got to get through.
We didn't have many penalties in the first quarter. Now they're just getting anxious. A lot of the penalties have been jumping off the line too quick.
Penalty started about
the time. And it appears like they're calling up to the press box, talking about the clock. because it probably wasn't running as it was off.
That's a good
Well,
point.
and they haven't moved the ball.
And they set up 3:06 left. They got 30 minutes up there.
Well, and they probably should enforce the penalty if they're going to call one. Remains first and 10.
First and 10 here with 3:06 to go in the first half.
The yellow flag must have been for the clock.
13-0 our score. Clayton Ridge on top. All points scored in the first quarter. And off the tailback off right side, picks up 5. So it's now second down. Make that maybe 4. Second down about 6. Nefsker with the carry. Good move. So it's second down and 6.
Kate Nank with the tackle. Took him out. Had a helmet issue. Earthing comes in for him.
2:45 to go here in our first half. 13-0 the score. The Vikings keeping the ball on the ground for the most part. Clayton Ridge with a 5-man front. And off fullback off left guard tackle grab. If you're close to a first down, he might have it.
Nefsker with a nice run.
I like how Nefsker runs that football. He runs hard.
And we're going to have a timeout for a measurement.
So he's doing a good job of keeping the ball going here. So 2:28 to go here in our first half.
Fifth carry for him. 6th carry. Ambling has a couple of carries. Simons rambled once for 17.
Timeout on the field. We'll take a break too. You'll see 94.7 FM KMC.
Sight and good vision is very easy to take for granted until it is taken away. Advanced Eye Care Associates of Eastern Iowa is here to help you. Advanced Eye Care Associates of Eastern Iowa is located at 105 East Butler Street in Manchester and at 1113 West 3rd Street in Vinton. Your vision is our primary focus.
Yeah, I think it looks like most of the showers.
First and 10 for Edco. Nefsker just picked up the first down on the last carry.
Ball on the far hash mark, 2:22 and counting. And off left guard tackle gap, breaks it again. Nefsker with another hard run. He's your go-to guy. You can just see what he's doing. I think you got to keep the ball in his hands and then come back with family every so often.
Yep, 9-yard gain there, almost another first down. Nefsker now with 26 yards in this quarter after being held to a minus for 0 yards on 2 carries in the first half of the quarter and 4 carries for 10 yards for the quarter.
Under 2 minutes to play here, and we've got a timeout for Clayton Ridge. So the Eagles with the timeout.
1:46 to go in the half. Edco marching for the first time tonight, trying to trim the Clayton Ridge lead, which stands at 13-0.
Realistically, you look at the Vikings schedule. There are certainly several games that they're going to be in this year. There's just no question about that. They might even get to 500 in the district.
Well, and there's certainly no moral wins, but if Edco can keep this close, it'll make practice next week much better. The coaching staff can say, look, you got beat by 50 the last 2 games against these guys.
Right.
And you hung in with them. You had a couple bad plays that led to 13 points, but other than that, you played them even. And score here, going to halftime, you're down 6. They're still in the ball game.
Postville was under 500 last year. Northland was under 500. East Buchanan under 500. Starmont was at 500, 5-5. You got also have Liston that had a pretty good year. You got Easton Valley, who moved up. They were playing some 8-man football. Now they're playing back in the back with the 11-man.
Yeah, because if they played at 8 in the conference, that'd be kind of an unfair advantage to the other team.
It would.
You know, the 11-on-8 thing, that would probably work for them all that long.
No.
Cooling down. You can tell the winds changed.
Yeah.
Temperatures dropped a little bit.
Yep.
Which we're not objecting to.
Not at all.
And Edco trying to score here in the last 1:46 of the second quarter. 2nd and 1 for them.
Out of the pistol, here we go. Counter play off left side. Nefsker with another carry. Picks up the first down. And a possible fumble once again here.
As he was coming back.
Well, Himes actually carried that time, the far side.
Himes for a pickup of about
saw lightning across over in that would be Wisconsin. Yes, that one skirted around it.
That'd be a good place for lightning to be.
1:36 to go here. 1st and 10 Vikings. They can pound one into the end zone. They're right back in this ball game. Ball on the far hash mark.
They have a couple timeouts left, and they continue to run, that time for a loss. Nice tackle in there by Eartham. Number 8.
He really didn't look like anybody stopped him. Came right in there, and as soon as he got the handoff, he grabbed him on both ankles and picked him up and dropped him like a bag of potatoes. Timeout for the Vikings with 1:15 to go here in our first half. They still got 2 timeouts left.
Eartham on a tackle for the Eagles there.
Take a look at the sports boosters here for this season. I'd like to thank 24-Hour Total Fitness Trade, Above and Beyond Healthcare and Hospice, Advanced Eye Care Associates, American Trust, Beavers Lounge, Bob Stephen Motors, Citizen State Bank, Community Savings Bank, Dairy Queen, Delhi, Don and Walt LLC, DePaco, Eastern Iowa Shopper, Dyersville Commercial, Edgewood Reminder, F&M Bank, Fairway, Fireside Pub and Steakhouse, GNB Bank, Georgian Auto, Good Neighbor Society, Greenworks, Landscaping, Hartridge, Golf Course, Jay's Auto, Krager's Body Shop, Leonard Mueller Funeral Home, Long-Term Medical Supply, and Lucky Building Service. A bunch of our area sponsors this year. I'd like to thank all those guys for making these broadcasts possible. It's huge. Without these sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do these ball games. Pass play across the middle. It's going to be caught inside the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Vikings!
Nice timeout. Nice play coming out of the timeout, and Edco's on the board.
That touchdown from about, 20 yards out?
About 20 yards out now.
20-yard touchdown.
Well, on the catch and the touchdown for the Vikings.
So that one was a slant pass right across the middle. There was nothing but black jerseys around him, but great pass there by Clayton Braden. Point after attempt on its way. Edco down by 7 here with 1:09 to go in the first half. Kick is up. It's high enough, and it is off to the left. So it stands 13-6.
So a boost for Edco here. They can go into half down only a score. Nice drive after the turnover to get it within 1 score.
I'm sensing that the backs of Edco are just starting to turn it up a notch. They're starting to get running a little bit harder, a little bit more sure of themselves.
Well, and I think what they did early is they ran a bunch of counter plays, and that slowed down the Clayton Ridge rush. And now they're able to run past them. Clayton Ridge is going to have to become more aggressive on defense. You saw in the first down play when they blitzed, they dropped Nesker for a loss, or Himes for a loss in the backfield.
Yes.
And that probably is going to have to be part of their defensive makeup as they go to the second half.
I like the way things are shaping up here for the Vikings. Clayton Ridge, both these teams just starting to, you can tell they're just kind of feeling each other out. They're just trying to get some rhythm established.
Well, and really, we talked about going into the game. Mistakes are going to be important, and we've had 2 turnovers on each team, and that's really negated each other. The missed tackles on the long run hurt Edco, and the punt return hurt Edco. But other than that, they've played pretty even with Clayton Ridge here at Guttenberg in the opening night. You'd have to come in here, I don't care how motivated you are, with a little trepidation after getting whacked by 35, 40, 45 points, 50 points the last couple of years. 3 years ago, it was a 10-7 Clayton Ridge victory. So they played close games in the past. It's just Clayton Ridge has an outstanding group of kids the last 2 years, and it looks like, despite that loss, they're developed a good team this year as well.
Kind of a pooch kick straight up the middle. I don't know if they intended to do that or not, but that ball never left the ground. It just rolled and rolled and rolled and picked
worked
up.
Pretty well, actually.
It did. No return on it.
On the return,
No return, and it stops the clock with 1:03 to go. The ball will be taken over, a kick out of 23 yards.
And the PA announcer with a nice call there. He said there was a boatload of Vikings. That, I wonder if they came over across the ocean to jump there. But I guess in Guttenberg, looking at the river, a boatload of defenders is a good way to announce it.
Yeah. Timeout Edco here with 1:03 to go. The Clayton Ridge was going to send out 3 receivers to the right and 2 to the left. And I'm not sure if Edco was prepared for that empty backfield.
Well, and who would have thunk it? You watch the first quarter and a half, and Edco scores on a nice passing play. You get on the board, pull within 7. Clayton Ridge came out throwing and really have not had much success throwing the ball since the opening play. They had the one throw to Eartham for a first down. But short of that, both teams relied on the running game.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprise, and why not burn it? You know, usually they say there's only 3 big plays in the game that turn that game one way or the other, and you got 2 timeouts. You're not going to get to take into the second half.
Well, and you certainly look at Edco. They can go in and say, we get the ball to start the second half. Do what we did last time. See if we can get her close. They have to stop Clayton Ridge here, but really the back-breaking play was the 88-yard run on a 3rd and 12.
Yes, yeah, and it was all the broken tackles.
Right.
And the play right before that, they actually had him in the end zone for safety, and he slipped away too.
Right.
So here we go. We've got 3 receivers to the right and 2 to the left. Empty backfield. Quarterback rolls out to the right side of the 3 receivers, throws it across the middle. It's going to be caught. It's going to be short of the first down, and he's dragged down for a...
Depends where they mark it. If they mark it...
This guy here on this sideline, who's got it? Oh, could be a first down. Yep, you're right.
2 of the 3 guys have it as first down. The official closest to it doesn't, but I think the 2 out of 3 will rule.
That's by Hines.
Hines on the tackle after the completion.
Moot point is they do give the first down here with 50 seconds to go. Still at midfield. With no timeouts left, Clayton Ridge.
Well, they probably don't need any at this point, do they?
No, not 44 seconds, really. Got to get in field position. Ball in far hash mark, twins to the right, single receiver left. Quarterback rolls out to his left and sets up a long pass down the field. Good coverage there. Ball extends out of the hand of the intended receiver, which is Ertham, so it's going to be now.
Ertham had gotten behind the defender, though, and, a 40-yard pass, it would have been a 38-yard pass, would have been caught.
Yes.
It was just barely over his hand.
2nd down and 10 here with 34 seconds to go.
And with the clock stopping, Clayton Ridge now 2nd and 10 at their own 43. There's no yard signs on where the yardage is other than on the far side.
And they're all of black. They're kind of in the shadows of the far light. Rolling out to the right here, flying down the sideline, the receiver. It's going to be underthrown. Stops the clock with 28 seconds to go.
And I think it was tipped a couple times, actually, as it went down the field. I think number 34 for Edco, Dawson Harbaugh, got up and may have gotten a piece of that one. So 3rd and 10. Now, of course, if you're Clayton Ridge with 28 seconds left, if you pass and don't make it, you're going to have to punt.
Ball to far hash mark. They could. Edco still's got, I believe they've got 1 timeout left. They say they have 2, but I think they used to.
Well, on the scoreboard it says they have 1.
Okay. Running off the left, the quarterback. They've got 4 receivers. Across the middle, it's going to be caught. Turning it near sideline right in front of us, and he's going to get a first down, which will stop the clock. So Moore hits Ratstetter, who came from the right side across the middle.
And a nice pass, nice underpass. Throw it in front of the Edco defense, puts the ball in Edco territory now to 45.
So you're ambling with the tackle. It's going to be a tough district. You got Macocata Valley in that district for Edco, Starmont, Lisbon. Of course, you got...
There's another roll. Now it's downfield.
Across the middle is going to be incomplete.
Knocked away, that time by number 10, Joseph Meisner. Meisner snuck around and got a hand in there to knock it down. Brings up 2nd and 10 with 4 seconds to go. So Clayton Ridge will have to pull out their 4-second, 45-yard play.
So here we sit here with 4 seconds to go. Eagles will take their final timeout.
To discuss what to do on that play. I mean, they don't really have much to lose. Wind it up, throw it as far as you can. Ertham's kind of taller than most, so I can run it as far as you can, hold it as long as you can, throw it as far as you can, and see what happens.
Yeah. You get a penalty down that way, and get another free play, put it in the end zone, get in scoring position. A lot of things can happen.
Good West Delaware open one tonight.
Western Dubuque.
So, Battle of the West.
That's
good,
right.
Good district. You talk about good districts, man. That district's like the District of Death, if you dilute it to the World Cup. I mean, if you're Macocata in that district, you're looking at playing fall soccer, I think. I mean, they've had good football tradition, but You put Waller, West Dubuque, and
Yeah, Xavier.
West Delaware.
Well, West Delaware is a different district.
Right.
But they're playing them tonight, yes.
Right.
Tough schedule, yes. Yeah, it's going to be a tough schedule, but they got a good coach.
Yep, Beckman opens with Monticello tonight, avoiding West Delaware, which, we'll maybe say some bumps and bruises, although I like to play West Delaware because they bring such a big crowd.
Oh, yeah.
They travel about as well as anybody in the area.
Oh, you're right. The Hawks love their football. Twins to both sides. Empty backfield. 3 receivers on the right, 2 on the left. Quarterback rolls out plenty of time, sets up, cross the middle. It's going to be caught. Nope, falls incomplete. Nearly caught and nearly intercepted and falls down. And that brings our first half to a close with the Clayton Ridge Eagles leading the Edco Vikings 13-6. We'll take a break and come back here in a minute with some halftime statistics and comments from Dan. You're listening to 94.7 FM KMCH.
At Community Savings Bank, it's simple. Simply Free Checking comes with free debit cards, free online banking with bill pay, free mobile money, and free thank you gifts. Find out more about Simply Free Checking at one of our 7 locations or online at csbiowa.com. Community Savings Bank. Member FDIC.
Community Insurance is proud to support the Edco Vikings football team, coaching staff, and fans. For all of your auto, farm, business, and home insurance needs, see the experts at Community Insurance in Edgewood. Go Vikings!
Jay's Auto Supercenter on the Greater East End of Manchester has quality pre-owned vehicles, great financing options, and a full-service department, body shop, and detail department. See their full line of vehicles online at jsautosales.net. At Jay's Auto, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority.
Hi, this is Jamie Vasky at Don & Walt LLC, your independent Lennox dealer in Manchester, encouraging you to plan ahead. Have us check your heating or air conditioning unit before you need it. For residential or commercial plumbing and heating needs and top quality Lennox furnaces and heating units, see Don & Walt LLC on East Main Street in Manchester, or give us a call at 927-2232.
Edgewood Convalescent Home is modernized with a home away from home feeling. Lincolnwood Assisted Living has personal service and health care. Edgewood Convalescent Home and Lincolnwood Assisted Living, the peace of mind you need. Go Vikings!
Biofield is your headquarters for all your seed, chemical, and fertilizer needs. They have professional service and quality products needed to bring the best crop to market. Biofield, providing growth opportunity for 18 locations across northern Iowa and southern Minnesota.
The Eastern Iowa Shopping News and the Dyersville Commercial recognize the hard work and dedication of all area athletes. Check out the weekly sports section in the commercial for scores and information. The Eastern Iowa Shopping News and Dyersville Commercial, supporting your communities.
Do you need a new pole building, barn, or a backyard shed? Edgewood Building Center and Schrader's Cash Supply can help with everything from plans to material for all of your building project needs. Edgewood Building Center and Schrader's Cash Supply in Dundee, the material difference.
Whatever your favorite sport, we know you will join Parrott Insurance and Grinnell Mutual in supporting all of our local athletes. Parrott Insurance is proud to be part of this community and looks forward to catching all of the sports action this year. If you want a strong insurance team working for you, call Parrott Insurance today for a quote from Grinnell Mutual and experience our policy of working together.
For fan food, not fast food, visit your after-the-game headquarters, Manchester Dairy Queen. It's quick, it's easy, your family will love it. Manchester Dairy Queen.
Your family. It's no secret that people come to Fairway in Manchester for their famous meats, but as you dash back to the counter to pick up your USDA choice ribeyes, don't be surprised if you find yourself lingering among the delicious fruits and vegetables in the produce department. Shop Fairway in Manchester for low prices and all your grocery needs.
Edgewood Auto and Tire has a mobile tire truck available 24 hours a day for all of your ag, auto, OTR, and semi-tires. Edgewood Auto and Tire, your tire and auto experts in Edgewood. Go Vikings!
Head to Fireside Pub and Steakhouse before or after the game or anytime, featuring steaks, seafood, pasta, sandwiches, and even fresh-made pizza. They say it's the best around. Visit them on the web at firesidemanchester.com for a full menu and special offers.
Going above and beyond is a standard of care at Above and Beyond Home Health and Hospice Care. Their compassionate staff cares deeply about the comfort of their patients. A nurse is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Above and Beyond Healthcare, the more they care, the more beautiful life becomes. Proudly serving Jones, Jackson, Johnson, Lynn, Clayton, and Delaware counties.
Leonard Muller Funeral Home and Crematory wishes all the best to the athletes and appreciates their hard work and scholastic efforts throughout the year. For personal, caring service, Leonard Muller Funeral Home and Crematory in Manchester, Edgewood, and Strawberry Point.
D&M Construction does residential, commercial, and agricultural construction. So if you're planning to remodel, build new, or need a hog...
Clayton Ridge by a score of 13-6. Scoring happened in the first quarter for Clayton Ridge. Missed tackles and a few turnovers for the Vikings. Really, they played Clayton Ridge even in this first half. Actually, I would say the Edco's drive actually was probably the best drive of the night. Jared scored from an 88-yard run for Clayton Ridge, and that 6-yard run by Raspitter was set up by some pretty good field position. So the Vikings are looking solid this year. You look back at last year, Dan, Ollinger led the Vikings with 889 yards rushing. Amling had 491, but, the guy that I think is having a big night is Jamie Nestor. He only had 168 on the season, and, I think you got to get in his hands more often.
He ran the ball 13 times for 39 yards in the first half. Became the dominant runner. Amling ran the first series basically, started the second series, kind of got knocked out, and came back in. For Clayton Ridge, Rathsedler, has been the workhorse, 14 carries for 45 yards. Of course, the big run by Gerner, the 88-yard touchdown run, 132 yards on the ground for Clayton Ridge and 64 for Edco. Passing, Clayton Ridge 4 for 9 for 60 yards. Person has 2 of the catches for 30. And Edco 1 for 4 with 1 interception and 1 completion, of course, the 20-yard touchdown pass that brought them within 13-6. That's where we stand at halftime. First downs, Edco has 4 in the half, while Clayton Ridge has 5. 6 for Clayton Ridge and 4 for Edco. So good defense on both teams. Big plays made up 12 of 13 of the 19-point scoring, and that's what usually happens. The other touchdown came as a result of the long punt return. So special teams and turnovers, like always, have made a big difference here in the first half. Clayton Ridge established early, and Edco was kind of fought back here, took a little momentum into the halftime with that last score. They get the ball coming out in the second half, and we'll see if there's any changes or adjustments made by either team. Both teams tend to run the ball and try to minimize mistakes. So 13-6, good first game for football team.
For both teams. I mean, Clayton Ridge, we can talk about Edco, but Clayton Ridge graduated a lot of guys. So they're kind of rebuilding too, and they're playing solid too. I mean, these turnovers go both ways, but you gotta say that this game is anybody's game in the second half.
Well, and Clayton Ridge, is playing players that have some experience, but not a lot of playing time just because of the outstanding class that was here the last 2 years for Clayton Ridge. 9-2 last year, and I think 7-3 or 7-4 the year before that. The Clayton Ridge team has really established a nice program, and so you battle a little bit first games against perceptions, and Clayton Ridge is obviously perceived to be an awfully good team, Edco, a team that struggles to get numbers and ultimately struggles to get wins. It'll be interesting here in the second half with the weather the way it's been in the heat. Edco's limited numbers, how that affects their players as we run towards the end of the game.
Well, Dan, let's take a look at some of the area of football here. We cover a lot of games here. I know you cover a lot too. Working with John, you see any favorites this year? Maquoketa Valley moving from 1A down to A. Starmont got some guys back.
You would think Maquoketa Valley would be awfully happy to move down a class and get rid of some of the 2A competition. They're still going to have to play the game. They seem to have some talent coming back, and I think that'll be a good thing. West Delaware in a tough district, but I think they're going to be awfully tough in that district. West Dubuque has a chance, although they're in maybe a district a little too hard for them. They're going to have to pull some upsets, and they're capable of doing that. Beckman's been good the last couple of years. They can move into just a horrifically hard district with New Hampton and and walk on North Fayette and schools like that. So Cascade, I think, probably with Lawrence at quarterback has as good a chance at advancing a long way in the playoffs once we get to that point. They've been tough the last couple of years. Beckman bounced last year and in the tournament, but Cascade will have a good quarterback under center, and that's what you kind of look at to be your team leader, and that's what they have.
Isn't that huge? You get a quarterback that has some experience. That's half the battle offensively.
And of course, you have the issues with travel this year. I think the districts are more spread out than they've been in the past. I think that's going to cut down a little bit on attendance. I don't think you'll see as many people travel other than maybe West Delaware, to some of the far away games. And so that might take a wear and tear. It'll be interesting to see what home field advantage is when the districts become larger and larger.
But it's football, and it's Iowa, and it's fall, and it's a tradition that a lot of these communities have, and they do love their football.
Well, but I'll tell you, it's August and it's 90, so I'm not sure that's really conducive to football weather.
I don't remember. Maybe it's happened before, but I don't remember the first game being on Memorial Day weekend.
Or Labor Day weekend. That would really be starting the season early.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
I'd kind of cut into other sports.
It'd be like a spring football, huh?
I still like this weather, though, as opposed to earlier in August, the weathermen were pontificating that it may be first frost by Labor Day, and I'm certainly more than happy to sit in the booth at Guttenberg at Clayton Ridge in shorts on a late August day. I mean, there's nothing to complain about with that. It appears the Lightning has decided to stay away from it. We'll get the game in without too much weather spread.
No problem. There's some more coming in way off past Waterloo and out southwest of Cedar Rapids. But we're going to get this one in. There's no question that for the Lightning, I imagine some of the teams got delayed, though. There were some pretty good shots out there west of us.
It'll be interesting to see what weather caused for delays around the area.
I'd like to thank these area sponsors again, like the EDCO sponsors, for making tonight's games possible. It's without the sponsors, there's no football on the air here. Community Insurance, Cornerstone Family Practices in Guttenberg Municipal Hospital, D&M Construction, Edgewood Auto and Tire, Edgewood Convalescent Home, Lincolnwood Assisted Living, Edgewood Building Center, Schrader's Cash Supply, Edgewood Feed Mill, and Farmers Savings Bank. So a lot of nice sponsors here. Edco across the way, got a good crowd. Of course, the concession stand food. Since your last baseball game, Dan, you got that concession stand.
Well, the contest will renew. This is an awfully nice press box, an awfully nice field. I like the grass on the field as opposed to the turf. The black track around the outside completes the complex. They've done a nice job. They have parking to the west of the field. And my only criticism to that would be if you wanted to watch the game from your car, you probably could pretty easily, given you're up a little bit as you head towards the river. You overlook the field without a lot of obstructions in the way.
Yeah. What I really like is the elevated patio type off to the right here of the home bleachers. They said they spent a lot of money on the brick. It looks like that's quite high. 2, 4, 6, 10, 12.
And it certainly would be good for track. Gathering teams, instructions. Then it's kind of a nice picnic area almost for football. I would assume, though, when it gets 20 below, it'd be a good place to stand and kind of jump up and down and try to keep it warm. And adequate seating for the visitors. Some complexes don't have seating enough for visitors. For Clayton Ridge and the teams they play, it's a nice bleacher over on that side.
Yeah, they thought of a lot of the amenities here. It's a beautiful field. Take a look at next week, of course, Edco. Got another tough competition. Actually, I believe it's MFL Marmac, if I'm not mistaken.
And Marmac's the team that they compete with. Usually, before the switching districts, they played Maquoketa Valley, or North Clayton Ridge would play Maquoketa Valley, and that was always kind of a highlight game.
Yes.
Both games the last couple of years have been close. I think last year it was 17-15.
You know, there's a chance. Now, if Ed Cook can win this game, they could run off their next two. I mean, they could be easily 3-0 heading into the Maquoketa Valley game. They could get MFL Marmac. They could beat Postville, and then they said 3-0, knocking on the door against Maquoketa Valley.
And after a long drought, you know, teams like that deserve to get off to a good start, have the fans get a little excited, generate some enthusiasm. Certainly, if you talk to a lot of ADs, they say how football goes is how your athletic year is going to go.
Yes.
You know, it's a good sign for the whole year for you.
And
Clayton Ridge, of course, just outstanding last year in athletics.
Yeah.
At every sport, they had a good football team, they had a good basketball team, had a very good baseball team.
Yes, they did this fall summer. I got to see them play a little bit before a district softball game. They were playing decorum, played the Vikings stuff.
Well, you know, the problem with Clayton Ridge had nothing to do with them. It had to do with the football. He ended up playing Regina, which, you know, is going to beat most teams. I don't care who you are. And then in baseball, they ran into Beckman, which, you know, it's been a tough out the last couple of years.
So you look at Clayton Ridge's schedule, you're talking like such a stretched-out district, and that's a district that Beckman's in. Beckman, that's almost a home game for them, or Starmont, because they got to go over to Dike, New Hartford. They got to go to MFL. They got to go up to South Wind, and then the next year they flip it, and they'll be traveling to Jessup. They'll be traveling to Hudson. They'll be traveling to Summer Fredericksburg. This is one of those stretched-out districts, but you know, when you live on the river, you got nobody to play with east of you.
No, they used to have preseason games with Wisconsin or Illinois teams, but that kind of ended 15, 20 years ago.
Is that a good thing or bad thing, you think?
Oh, I don't, you know, I think it's a bad thing because it gives teams area competition that would draw a crowd. I mean, part of high school football is you want to win. The other part is you want to draw local crowds so that you can pay for the program.
Yeah, these football teams support a lot of the non-revenue sports. You know, if you had a good home crowd, it takes the pressure off the other coaches to fundraise.
Right, and you look at like Beckman this year with the expanded district, they only have 4 home games. One of them isn't West Delaware. When you had West Delaware, West Dubuque on the schedule, you knew you were in for a good crowd at one of those. You know, you had one of them home each year, and that would provide a good gate for you. The problem with Beckman playing those two, though, it led to some nicks and bruises going into the district that you want to try to avoid. And picking up Monticello's a good team. Monticello's a good area team. They'll have a good row with Cascade again, I'm sure. They'll two are good rivals.
I know Western Dubuque scrimmaged Cascade, and they were very happy. It was a good opponent for them to scrimmage. I'm starting to see more of that with the teams are scrimmaging each other. I think that was unheard of 10 years ago.
I think it was too. You saw it in basketball all the time, but you didn't in football as much. It's always good if you can find somebody to play that isn't wearing the same jersey as you, because it gets pretty old hitting the same guy day after day, 30 days inside of a 100-degree temperature August.
Both teams have taken the field here to begin our third quarter. Second half, our score here at halftime, 13-6. The Clayton Ridge Eagles on top of the Edco Vikings. Vikings go with the last score, and they get a chance here to come back right off the bat and tie this one up. We'll take a break and come right back with the second half kickoff. You're listening to 94.7 FM KMCH.
At Three Rivers, our customers come first. Your business is very important to us. Our goal is to provide you with the best products and service that you have come to expect from Three Rivers. Visit our website at threeriversfs.com or the location nearest you. Three Rivers, your partner in growth solutions.
Vikings are so Rapster will be kicking the football to a pair of receivers standing at the 10-yard line. It's Meisner's back there and Hager. So this kick goes back. It's going to be caught by an up back, and it's out to the 20. And there he is tackled just across the 25.
First one was the lead tackle for Clayton Ridge. The return man number 34, Dawson Harbaugh.
So Harbaugh, with the return of about 4 yards, actually dropped back. He backpedaled and caught that one. That was going to bounce between the deep men. That was a good move on his part. How often do you see one of those up men just say, it's yours, and let it go, and it bounces and somebody recovers it?
Well, and, he's a running back, so I imagine the opportunity to catch the ball and run was what he wanted.
So the quarterback for the Vikings again out of that pistol, hands off to the counter right side to left. And Amling with the carry. He's going to be dropped for a loss of 1.
And same play they ran to begin the game. And on that play, Amling ran for 1 yard. So things changed, but not that much.
Second down and 11 here for the Vikings. Head coach for the Vikings, James Rochford. Assistant coaches are Alec Hanna, Ed Wadsworth, Dave Millett, and Rod Varner. Pistol once again wide out to the left side. Blitzed by the linebackers. They do pick it up. Off right tackle. Gain of 1, though.
That time, 33, the ball carrier, Jamie Nestor.
So it's now third down and 11 from the 30-yard line.
So Edco content to keep it on the ground. Although they've run straight plays, no counter plays the first 2. They lived on counter plays during their drive that led to their only score in the second quarter.
Wide out to the left side. Again, slot on the left side as well. Blitzing linebackers again. They pick it up the middle. Hard run there by Nefsker. Again, picks up the first down. I like the way he's running.
He's up to 49 yards now on 15 carriers. 15 carries.
Pick at 12.
And a first down for Edco. Extend the drive, get the ball further down the field. So good momentum.
Nefsker only a junior. He's 6 foot, 170 pounds.
And he'll gain exponential experience this year. Be one of those experienced guys coming back as Edco tries to build their numbers, build their confidence in their program.
Wing on the left side, wide out on the right side. Out of the pistol again here. The quarterback stands about a yard behind the center, takes the snap, handoff from right to left, off left guard tackle gap. They pick up a 5 on the play.
And he just turned on that one. That time the ball carrier was Harbaugh. He picked up 5.
The second down and 5 from the 44. 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. Our score, Clayton Ridge 13, Edco 6.
And I'm not sure that was Harbaugh. I think that was Himes.
24, Josh Himes. Yes, Himes, a 6 foot, 190 pound senior running back. Ball between the hash marks, wide out the left side. Vikings going from our left to our right with a wing on the right side. 5-man front here for the Eagles. And off the left guard tackle gap, no gain on the play.
Nefsker didn't fool anybody that time, and he ran up the middle and was met head on by number 59 for Clayton Ridge. That's Ryan Moser. Moser, the one they talked about in the paper in the pregame, the 6'5", 285-pounder. He's not going to be easy to move offensive line or defensive line. That time he stopped Nefsker for no gain.
Third down and 6 from the 48-yard line with 9 minutes to go here. The Vikings are not in any hurry to get to the line. Very methodical, very efficient so far. Wings to both sides, to the back of the backfield. Quarterback hands rolls back to his left. Going to be a pass play, throws it off balance, going to be incomplete. The intended receiver was well guarded, so he probably wouldn't have picked up the first down.
Joseph Meisner trying to make the play, couldn't do it on the catch. So 4th and 5. Interesting that Edco, when they run their pass plays, they roll their quarterback to the left, and he's right-handed. He's throwing across his body. I don't think they've come to the right yet.
They haven't.
Have him throw
They haven't.
with his throwing.
He's throwing off balance. 4th and 6 from the 48 here. Punting, understanding at the 30-45. Low kick. Doesn't go very far. Takes a bounce out to the left. Looks like it was touched by a Clayton Ridge, though. That thing took a left-hand turn, and it hit one of the Clayton Ridge defenders on the left thigh, and it's going to be recovered by the Vikings at the 21. You know, Jan,
another big play on special teams.
That almost happened in the first half.
Well,
that
I'm not sure it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, there was no sign of it. The official was a long ways away, but it looks like to us up here that it did. Now a huge opportunity for Edco.
1st and 10 on the 21 with 8:37 to go here in our third quarter. Vikings with picking up the blitz here, slipping through the defense. Again, another nice run. The blitzing linebackers gets wrong, and Nefsker runs hard off tackle.
Broke a few tackles. He's been impressive tonight after first contact to continue to churn and break tackles. He's done that on most of his runs. He's never really had an open field. He's run with people hanging on him. And Edco, regardless how this comes out tonight, now, you have to be impressed. They get down 13-0 early, have nothing really to hang their hats on, but battled back, and now they're within 10 yards of a tying touchdown.
2nd and 2, counter play off left side. Could be close to a first down. They do have the first down. They're inside the 10-yard line.
And that was Himes, and he broke a couple tackles for about a 4-yard gain.
7:53 to go here in our third quarter. The Vikings in the red zone. Trail 13-6. They're down to the 9-yard line.
And Clayton Ridge, it's hard to score if you don't have the ball, and it's put down in under 8 minutes now in the third quarter. And because of the fumble punt, Edco has maintained the ball the whole quarter so far.
7:35 and counting here in the third. The Vikings walk up to the line of scrimmage. This is the second possession. All the handoff inside, left guard tackle gap. No gain on a play. Now second down. So Clayton Ridge has not run an offensive play here in this third quarter.
And 8 plays for Edco so far as they face a second down and goal from about the 8-yard line. Obviously 4-down territory for them. Last time they scored, it was on a rear pass play. We'll see if they choose to do that here or run it 3 more times to get the 8 yards they need.
Going on the right side, cross back, trying to bounce it down the outside. Necessary hits one, spins away, and fights his way down to about the 5 now. So the Vikings try to get the ball outside. Again, we mentioned earlier that the defensive line between the tackles outweighs the Vikings easily. But the Vikings are bouncing outside.
And that's really the first, planned pitch they've had. They've cut some outside and run some counters outside, but that was a direct toss to the outside. It picked up 3, brings up 3rd and goal from the 5 with about 6 minutes left, about half the third quarter gone. And Edco trying to tie it up here.
So the snap, hand off left side now, into the end zone, touchdown, Edco at Josh Himes.
Josh Himes on the 5-yard run. And now we pull the score to 13-12. Clayton Ridge had an extra point goal wide left last time. It was certainly high enough, far enough, but just missed the mark. We'll see if they go for one or try to take the lead here.
Well, they had plenty of distance. I mean, that thing was as high as probably those goalposts are. But, for a point after attempt, what they're going to do here. Now they're going to go for 2, it looks like.
They are going to go for 2, try to take the lead.
Well, you go for the win on the road, don't you? So here's the snap. 3 backs in the backfield. Hand off to the third back through on the right side. Close to the end zone. I think he's going to be short. It is good. They got it.
Yeah.
The Vikings, surprising.
And that was Himes again.
Himes with the point after conversion. Vikings up 14-13 here with 6:03 to go here in our third quarter. Well, I'm sure if you're a football picker of games here, some of the area contests, I don't know if you'd be picking this one this way right now.
Well, and like I said, you certainly have to be impressed with Edco. They come out with not much of a tradition the last couple of years, get down, put 13 points on a couple big plays, and they didn't hang their hats or their helmets or their dauber, and they just, gutted out 2 long drives. Been helped twice by Clayton Ridge turnovers, but they find themselves in the second half with the lead, which has to be pretty exciting if you're an Edco fan.
Well, absolutely. 14-13 the score here, 6:03 to go. Edco with 14 unanswered points.
Well, and more importantly, they haven't really given Clayton Ridge a chance to come back. They've had the ball the first half of the third quarter. You don't think Edco would, onside kick here or anything, do you?
I wouldn't put it past them because they showed one earlier, almost kind of a squib kick. Well, let's see what happens here. Deep man standing back at the 5. This is going to be a traditional kick that's going to be caught back at the 15. Returned up the middle. Oh, it's going to be dropped inside the 20. Great open field tackle there.
And that was by number 7 for Edco, Seth Hager.
So, first and 10, Clayton Ridge, with 5:57 to go in the third quarter. This will be their first offensive play. They fumbled off the punch.
Right.
Set up Edco with some great field position. Got to take advantage of what's given to you.
It'll be interesting here. We'll see how Clayton Ridge plays it, if they go to the pass or if they try to reestablish the run like they did in the first half.
Chase Moore under center, hands off the single back in the backfield, runs hard off left guard tackle gap. Picks up 5 on the play. It's now second down and 5.
And a nice tackle there by number 44, Brady Helly.
So Helly.
And Kerner was the ball carrier.
Yeah.
Ball carrier.
Yep.
So after his 88-yard run, he gets a chance and goes for 5, up to 93 yards on the game.
Second and 5 now. 14-13 our score here. This thing for Edco is to get another quick turnover.
Well, if they can slow Clayton Ridge down here, and it's a big possession for Clayton Ridge to reestablish their offense. They haven't had the ball, and a nice run that time by Rastetter as he turned his way to a first down as he was being drugged down by Chad Moser. Moser hung on, though, and was able to keep his grip on, but not before Rastetter picked up a first down.
And I don't think that these players, haven't played in these field conditions in a while. I don't know it's been that hot last week. I mean, it was hot. One day, a lot of the schools got out, but, it's still warm out there.
Beautiful field, though. It's a soft field. The grass is green, and, you're not going to be diving on the metal.
Slant pass left side is going to be caught, squares himself up, breaks one tackle, and then tackled near the first down line. So a nice run there, pick up and carry.
Interception there by Mason Palmer.
Close to a first down. It's going to be second down and short yardage.
Palmer with a 9-yard gain.
It's actually gotten a little bit more humid. It's 73% humidity out down in the field.
Second and 1 for the Eagles.
I'd classify that as hot. But
yeah, it's 79 degrees yet here at 8:30. It's
second and under 1.
Quarterback hands off right guard tackle gap, and they're going to stuff it. Edco sends those linebackers, and they actually drive him back further.
And a fumble
on the play. And the Vikings ball on it.
Edco still wrestling around.
Still fighting for it. I can see only
it was almost first and 10, and the ball is now behind the 10-yard marker behind. It's squirted out and laid out there for 2 or 3 seconds. And they're saying it's recovered by Clayton Ridge.
That was going to win either way.
And that'll set up now a 3rd and 12. So a minus 11. We're not sure who to give the negative yards to, so we'll just give it to the team.
3rd down and 13 now for Clayton Ridge with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. They trail by 1, 14-13.
So 2nd and 1 to 3rd and 13. That's not
from the 33-yard line in the third quarter.
Fumble on the snap.
The quarterback's going to go down on it.
And that'll be a loss of about 13 yards. And set up a punting situation. Ball now back to the 23. They had the ball on the 44 2 plays ago.
If I was a volleyball, basketball, softball, baseball coach, I would have called a timeout. But in football, you just don't call the timeouts when your team seems rattled.
And
you just don't do that.
And you only have 3, and you kind of are in a close game, and you want to save it for, the end of the game.
So it's 4th down and 23 from the 20. 4th down and 24 from the 23, and now Clayton Ridge is going to call the timeout.
Right.
3:25 to go here. Make sure that they get this punt away because, boy, Edco pushes them in, and they get a 2-point conversion. They're up now by 2 scores.
Well, and as smooth as Clayton Ridge is looking quarterback with Chase Moore, he is only a sophomore. And now he's in a tight game, and, they want him to pass, and the ball's become a little slippery. It wasn't a great snap back to the center. Moore tried to make the play, just couldn't do it.
Right.
And really, Clayton Ridge should consider themselves lucky because that 2nd down play where the ball was loose, Clayton Ridge had way fewer players around the ball than Edco.
Yes.
They just happened to dig it out from the pile, which is the 2nd time they've done that tonight, where it looked like Edco had a fumble recovery and Clayton Ridge came up with the ball.
Lots and lots of turnovers here for both teams. But Edco right now, the team to beat here, they've ran off 14 unanswered points.
Well, and you know, they have to be brimming with confidence. At this point, they have an offense and it's not simple, but it's run-oriented. They know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they're going to, oh, almost a high snap, almost got it away. Hunter does do a nice job of going up and getting it. Ball's going to be fumbled, and they fall down on it. Back at the 33.
And, you know, that was a very nice play by Hampton. You know, you have kids try to pick it up once in a while, and that causes a mistake. He made a mistake by dropping it, but he made a great play by just falling on it. Actually, that was number 7.
Seth Hager?
Seth Hager.
Yeah.
So a smart play by Hager. I mean, it's a mistake, but it's a good recovery. You know, you say that a lot in a lot of sports. One mistake won't kill you, but the second one will.
Well, but give credit to Rastetter, too. He's 6'2", and he had to go up high to get that snap. That thing almost sailed into the end zone.
So, yeah, the game's on the edge of the seat here for the fans, at least in the third quarter. The problem for Clayton Ridge, they haven't had the ball very much.
14-13 with 3:17 to go here in the third quarter. Out of the pistol, all 3 linebackers are shooting, and they're going to try to kick the ball around the outside. It's going to be a pass play out left side, flat, falls incomplete. So Edco saw the pressure coming. Dropping back was Braden. He rolls out to the left side, and Amling was wide open. He just threw over the outside left shoulder. Falls incomplete.
And that much work in practice. It just doesn't look very smooth having him roll to the left. I mean, there's some guys who can do that, but they're on full ride scholarships at colleges or playing on Sunday in the NFL. For a high school kid, I would think it'd be easier to throw to his natural side, the right side, and so far they haven't done that.
Maybe they're saving that for a big game. Wing on the left side, again, out of that pistol. Handoff, left guard tackle gap. A hard run by Nepsker. Picks up 3 on the play.
And a little shoving here between a couple players. Clayton Ridge is Dayton Hank and number 10 for Edco, Joseph Meisner, getting excited. The referee steps in and says, fellas, you know, let's have fun. Let's not get in this fight. 3rd and 6 now, a big play. If you're both teams, you're going to pass. I would think Edco would try to figure a way to get the ball to Nepsker. Some kind of blast up the middle. Moser will try to stop it for Clayton Ridge.
He's the guy I want to be touching the ball. 2:30 to go here in the third. And off right guard tackle, almost a horse collar. He's got him up right around the neck and brings him back down.
About a 4-yard loss for number 24, Edco.
And it's 4th down. And we've got a injured Eagle down on the field.
You know, Himes had nowhere to go on that. He ran hard, but he ran into a lot of people for Clayton Ridge and trying to get the number of the player down on his hands and knees. He was in as part of the scrum. And it looks like it's Bruce Rodenberg.
Can help off the field there?
Oh, it's on his own. It looks now number 70.
Juan
Ramos.
5'10", 210-pounder.
When you're bent over, the zeros look like 8s once in a while.
He folded the shirt in a little bit here.
Right.
Yeah, cuts that in half.
So that'll bring up 4th down. Clayton Ridge with a nice stop after.
Got a nice little barge, it looks like, floating down the river across the way.
Probably a party boat. Wanting to watch the end of the game.
Oh, you can see the lights on the...
2:20 to go here, third quarter. We're setting this up for an awfully good conclusion to the game. Both teams have shown flashes of offense. They played great on defense. 1-point margin here as we enter the last 2:20 of the third quarter.
Vikings will be punting. The ball sits at the 35. The punter back just outside the 22. One return man back.
Bad snap. It bounces.
But he does get it off.
Block.
It's going to be another low turn. It's going to be right up the middle. That's another low punt. And he's got some room here. Up the sideline, knocked out of bounds in front of the Clayton Ridge bench at midfield.
Alexander Simon with the return, and he had a good one to return. It was a low line drive after a poor snap. And Edco will have the ball, or have their defense on their own side of their field. 1st and 10 for Clayton Ridge on the 43-yard line.
Well, the Vikings have got to dig their heels in here with 2:03 to go in the third. They lead 14-13.
Well, we'll see what Clayton Ridge does here. They were marching fine until they got some issues with holding on to the ball the last drive.
Ball in the near hash mark, going from our right to our left here. Hand off to the running back. Breaks the tackle, then a second into the secondary. Still on his feet. A good hard run by Rathstetter.
And a nice run there. Finally brought down by 54 for Edco. That's Cody Gall. And number 5, Michael Jones. After a pickup of 7. Rathstetter, a hard runner. He has 12 yards now in this half. He has 57 for the game.
2nd and 3 from the 36 with 1:32 to go here in our third quarter.
And Clayton Metridge might just try to do that. Just run Rathstetter. Say we're bigger than you. Try to stop.
And hand off to the third man through with fumble on the play here. And apparently the same guy keeps fumbling it. Some of the crowd are saying don't give it to him.
So 62 for Edco recovers. A nice fumble recovery for Hunter and Beatty. And another fumble for Clayton Ridge as they lost the handle on the ball literally. And now Edco with a chance with the ball at their own 40 to put a little distance between.
The wide receiver on the left side is the man that went in motion. He came around, and he was the third man through the line. But by the time he gets to the quarterback, he's at full go. That's a difficult handoff when you're running full go past the quarterback.
And with Rathstetter having some success, I'm not sure you just don't run him until he poops off. You know, he runs hard between the tackles.
And off right guard, tackle gap, no gain on the play there. It's good penetration. Nevsker could be dropped for a loss.
And that's his 10th carry of the half. He scored the touchdown, of course, and the 2-point conversion has 27 yards on the ground this half. And the clock continues to run as we're under a minute now in the third quarter. 1-point lead for Edco. If you're just joining us, Clayton Ridge off to a 2-touchdown lead, 13-0. Edco scores right before the half. Added a score in the third quarter after recovering a botched punt, and they lead 14-13.
Ball on your sideline, a little bit of a counterplay around the left side, and drop for a loss is Sawyer Amling. So Clayton Ridge starting to second up a little bit on defense too, and the Vikings cannot get it to the outside.
Well, and Edco has gone with what's worked for him to this point. It appears that Clayton Ridge is now blitzing a little more, sending more people, as opposed to waiting for them. And with the size difference, they're getting into the backfield, and that's caused some confusion here the last two series for Edco. I think that's going to do it for the quarter. So we'll go to the fourth quarter with a 1-point game. Good way to kick off the season.
We'll take a break and come back here with more from Clayton Ridge High School. The Vikings lead the Eagles 14-13.
Citizen State Bank, your locally owned, community-minded, and customer-oriented bank, is here to serve you. Choose one of their 7 convenient locations in Winthrop, Monticello, Manchester, Ryan, Strawberry Point, Hopkinton, and New Vienna. Citizen State Bank, community banking with people you know, member FDIC.
Ratchford.
And he has to be happy with the efforts of his team so far tonight. Fell behind early, came back strong, have a chance to win this, although they have a big play coming up here third.
Well, they've got 11 returning letter winners, got 10 returning starters, and they're only starting 5 players that aren't returning. So they only have 5 new guys out there that have not experienced football and big losses to Clayton Ridge. And sometimes that's a big motivator.
Well, it can be a big motivator, and it can be a big wall. You know, you think he's playing Clayton Ridge, and they've crushed us the last 2 years. What's happened is that they fought their way back into the game, which is more impressive to me than if they would have come out and played them even early. I mean, they fell behind early, could have easily just said, okay, it's Clayton Ridge, we're doomed. They didn't. They fought back. They ran their offense, ran it succinctly, Nesters run hard, and they're right here as we go into the fourth quarter, leading by a point.
Well, I believe this is the first year for head coach Chet Harbaugh. Again, they're taking over the reins. So, you know, you've got some new plays in there. You got some new ways of doing things. You know, Harbaugh's assisted by Coach Barry Armstrong, Roger Bockenstead, Scott Kelly, Dustin White, Rob Anderson, Bart Bergen, and Bob Swears.
But the thing about that is you're a first-year coach. This is your first game, and you can't catch the ball. You can't hold on to the ball, players.
Right.
I mean, the unforced errors have hurt Clayton Ridge tonight, not offense or defensive play calling.
Pass play around the right side. They take the handoff to both both backs who stood on both sides of the quarterback, and the intended pass to Amley falls incomplete, and it's 4th down.
Not sure I'd pass if I was Edco anymore. You know, as long as you have the lead, you can run 45 seconds off the clock and try to make this a shorter game as opposed to a longer game. Edco now 1 for 7 in the passing department, although the one catch was for a touchdown.
It's like winning the lottery, isn't it?
And now we have a penalty.
Right before the point, it's illegal substitution.
I think we have 3 players on the field.
Yeah, we got way too many.
Edco.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
And now we're sending one off. Well, the officials prove they can count to 11. That's something probably you should try every game and try it again, although it'll give Clayton Ridge better field position.
Got a nice lightning show off to the southwest, but that's a long ways from us.
I'm trying to avoid that, thanks.
Here's the punt now. A nice high kick.
Not very far, but that probably works in their behalf.
And no return on the play.
And this time, right away, Alexander Simon is hit. You know, he made a nice catch on the ball. Amley
about a 45-yard punt. So
taken down. Nice coverage that time by Sawyer Amley. You know, after the last return.
I'd give that an A+ for execution of a punt.
Yes.
You know, I think punt. It just did a great job. Nice high punt. No return on it. Got some distance here. 11:46 to go in the contest. Let's go up 14-13. Will they be able to hold on here against this Clayton Ridge?
And I'll guarantee you they think the clock's moving way too slow with a 1-point lead here in the 4th quarter.
Vikings bring ball linebackers up, and they do blitz. And they off the right tackle, up the right hip of the right tackle. Ratzetter with a carry of 5.
And he did a nice job of avoiding defensive penetration there in the backfield. Number 62 for Edco. That would be Hunter Beatty penetrated in, but Ratzetter was able to avoid him.
2nd and 5 from the 40 with 11:19 to go.
So 2nd and 5.
Clayton Ridge has 2 timeouts left. Edco with 3.
Now we have an official timeout. Looks like one of the Edco players shaken up.
Well, it's a mouthpiece thing. He's done that before with the official. I saw him pulling that mouthpiece out. I don't know if it's dirt in there.
All of having mouthpieces in, you know, makes you not trash talk it. I think you can still trash talk it. You know the mouth.
Yeah. Slant pass on the left side is going to be caught, and he slips and falls. Probably no gain on the play. 3rd down now and 5.
And that was caught out there by number 27 for Clayton Ridge. And that's Simon, his first catch of the night for a yard.
I can remember being in junior high playing football, and our mouthpiece was you bit on it, and it actually covered your lips,
yeah.
The outside part of it. So when you had it in your mouth, you just saw no lips.
I can think of some pro athletes I wouldn't mind having wear those during the contest.
Uh-huh.
And now we have an official timeout again.
So Clayton Ridge burning one of their own 2 timeouts here with 10:30 to go here in our contest. Let's go up 14-13. The Vikings with 14 unanswered points here.
Probably a good timeout, though. This is starting to get to be a big series. You're 3rd and 5. And first down here would help. If you have to punt, you're going to run 3 minutes off the clock again. You know, you're starting to run out of time a little bit.
Critical juncture in the game here for Clayton Ridge.
Yeah, I don't think a field goal over 35 should be counted on. I mean, both kickers kick fine. They just haven't been able to get them between the crossbars on 2 occasions. The one actually was blocked. Edco blocked.
Yes.
The first one.
Had good penetration in there.
One, it was like 95 out and the sun was out. Sort of.
Sort of. It's awfully humid.
Yeah.
Still warm, though. It's still warm and muggy, though. We've got rain on the way.
Well,
I think we're going to get this one in there without a problem, though.
And we probably need some rain, and after the game would be preferred.
Yes. So here we go. Let's see this timeout produces here. Slot on the right side out of the I formation. End in tight on the left side. Linebacker blitz on the right side.
They're not covering anybody in the slot.
And no gain on the play here. It's going to be
a couple yard gain,
maybe back to line of scrimmage. Yeah, maybe 2.
Tackled by Trevor Hosington there. He wrapped up the runner and threw him down.
Humidity, yeah.
And that was who ran that? Did you see the number?
I think it was Nesker. No, it was
Philmeyer,
yeah.
Because Rassiter was on the sideline.
Yep.
But number 9, he was wide open in the slot. They had no defender on him. Jared Gerner could have just stood there, but they weren't running a pass. And now they're looking for the fake. They're not even going to field the punt. And the ball rolled sideways. It comes back before it's down by Clayton Ridge, Alexander Simon. So they're not even risking a fumble on that.
They are playing this one conservative to the max, aren't they?
Well, and they also were afraid Clayton Ridge probably was going to run a fake. You know, if you're going to run a fake, that wouldn't have been a bad time.
Well, you know, you could have called the hard count, too, and taken the 5-yard penalty, and that wouldn't have cost you much, really.
No.
That's a play that, you know, people do at midfield because what's going to cost you 5, and you get that back sometimes on a good punt or a good defense. So 9:39 to go here in the contest. 14-13 our score. The Vikings on top right now by 1 with the football.
And you would have to think that you're going to see a running play here. Probably Hines. He's the one set right behind the quarterback. Nope, the slant hand off to the side back. And a good gain, about 5 yards.
Edco's got 3 backs within 2 yards of the quarterback, and the quarterback's backs up stands about a yard off to the center, so a little bit of a short snap. But the quarterback's up, and he can take a look around.
And they've used that play a lot here in the second half. Hines' 4th carry now, and he gained 4 or 5 yards on 3 of them, dropped for a loss on the other one, where he sets close to the quarterback on the left and then runs a counter to the right.
4, second, 6.
Clock under 9 minutes now in the 4th quarter. Edco clinging to a 1-point lead.
Double slot formation, though, here. Almost a passing situation, it looks like. A motion from right to left, and hand up to the fullback inside. Off right guard tackle gap, stumbled his way, so they basically spread the defense out, then handed the ball off to Nesker, and Nesker diving forward, catches it, and he goes.
And he got tripped up at the line, or that would have been a huge game, and now he's down on the field. As they come out to look at him, it'll bring up, well, it depends where they're going to mark the ball here.
He came out, he was spelling it.
Looks like we're going to have a measurement, too. He stumbled across the line, and the defender got his hand on his ankle. He blocked his hand on the ground, so I'm not sure if it's his hand or his ankle. And then he stumbled forward.
Give him the first down.
It is a first down, so give him a 6-yard gain.
They're checking his ankle out, though. You know, he hobbled for that first down. You know, now, he wasn't off balance. Maybe that ankle was.
So now your degree of difficulty really becomes more intense. You're a running team, your best running back's out, and you're up by 1 point in the 4th quarter on the road.
Yeah, let's hope this is not a serious injury, although they're taking a look at that ankle. At least it's not a knee. And I doubt that it's going to be a break, but you never know. We'll take a break and come back. You're listening to 94.7 FM KMCH.
West Delaware football, and I had the chance to review the Good Neighbor Society playbook, and I gotta tell you, they are friends in our neighborhood, designing plays to get you home fast. If you need help getting back in the game, contact the Good Neighbor Society's Rehab to Home team at 563-927-3907.
Jamie Nesker stumbled out of the backfield, picked up the first down, but he's coming up now. They're going to see how he's going to come off here. So he's going to come off on his own power.
Pretty gingerly, though.
Yeah.
You remember Amblin went out after the second play in the first quarter. He came back. I'm sure Edco fans, coaches, players are hoping they get Natsker back in the game before next Friday. 8:41 now to go in the game. 1st and 10 for Edco. So a big first down for them. Gives them 3 more plays. They're at their own 29-yard line. And the clock at 8:41 will become in their favor here if they get a couple more first down.
Favoring that right ankle. It's not a knee. He's favoring that right ankle, but he walked off under his own power. 8:32 to go here in the game now. Edco, 3 backs in the backfield, standing side by side directly behind the quarterback. And they hand off to the right one, comes through the left side. He's actually the second man through. The middle back was the lead blocker.
And, you know, for being an undersized line, the Edco line has done a terrific job tonight. They probably haven't gotten enough credit. They've done some nice jobs against a bigger Clayton Ridge team. You know, they came into the game right about Ryan Moser at 6'5", 285, and I think he's only called his name 2 or 3 times. And he's a big load to cover in the middle, and they've done a nice job with misdirection to get around him most of the night.
Clayton Ridge with one timeout. Edco with 3 with 7:52 to go in the contest. Edco up 14-13. Second and 10 for the 24-yard line of the Vikings. Linebackers Reed and Edco off the right side. No gain. So this time the linebackers are just basically reading. They had been shooting in that stretch where Edco got those 14 points. The linebackers are trying to guess, and it just simply put too much pressure, and Edco was able to score twice. Now the linebackers are reading right at the line of scrimmage. They're taking a couple steps up, anticipating the run, but they're not penetrating.
Josh O'Himes that time on the run didn't get but maybe a yard. So 3rd and 9 here. We'll see if Edco missed the pass with 7:13 to go.
3rd and 9 from the 24-yard line. Wing on the right side, 2 backs to the backfield. Again, out of that shotgun. A fumble on the play here. And it looks like Clayton Ridge has fallen on the fumble. And they have. That was a pitch play. Poor pitch there from the outside right. And it slipped through his fingertips, and now Edco really's got the pressure on.
Well, and the effectiveness for going out, it's a team game, but he's been kind of the lead horse. You take him out, and it bogged down their offense.
3% 26 for the Eagles.
I think he's checking his ankle out. He's running back and forth there. I think they probably taped him up there pretty good. There's nobody on the bench. So here we go.
Good chance for Clayton Ridge here.
1st and 10 from the 26. They're just 26 yards away from taking the lead here. And off inside, a gain of 3 on the play. It's now 2nd down and 7.
Of course, 4 down territories here now for the Eagles.
Might come back and haunt them. They only have 1 timeout left.
Well, they're close enough now that Netzer is back in the game. He just made the tackle.
With just an ankle, they just taped it up a little bit and got him out there.
Boy, that was a big 3 plays to be out, though.
Wasn't it? Well, it'll be bigger if they score. Wide out on the left side and wide out to the right. They're spreading out that defense. They got an I formation here. Quarterback directly under center. So under center is Jace Moore. So Moore, the sophomore. A little bit of a counter play and a reverse. Oh, he's going to tuck it away. Hands off, actually, to Kumley. And he dropped for a huge loss.
Back down to the 35.
That looked like it was almost going to be a reverse or double reverse. And it just broke down. Too much penetration.
Loss of about 10 yards. And, you don't want to be critical, but, they were running the ball pretty well, and then they tried to run an exotic. Now they're in a third. A really tough situation.
3rd and 18 from the 34 with 5:42 in the 4th quarter. Edco up 14-13.
And Mosier now sacked or dropped for 25 yards worth of losses here in the second half. Obviously 2 down territory.
Wide outs to both sides out of the eye on a very hot, humid Friday night. Rolling out to the right side, pass on the right side, slant, double coverage there. Going up for grabs, and it's an interception at the 2-yard line. Edco with the interception. That's one of those, though, Dan, if you got presence of mind, I think I'm knocking that down.
I don't think you have presence of mind. The receiver was right there as well.
Yeah, you got to get it.
That was a nice play. It was a good cover. In fact, I thought probably the Edco guy had come up short, but he jumped and got it. The Clayton Ridge guy had run by as opposed to coming back to the ball, and that allows the defensive player to get it.
If he catches that ball and falls back in the end zone, it's a touchback. They're out to 20, right?
Right.
So they're just a yard away from a huge play here of being out to the 20, comfortable with 5:24. Now their heels are there. Even a safety gives Clayton Ridge that lead back. 14-13 with 5:24 to go in the contest.
And I think Edco's going to talk about it. I think they're aware of the situation with 5.5 to go. They lead by 1, but they'll start their offensive series in the end zone.
So it's good news, bad news things. Good news is you got the ball back. Bad news is you're starting with the tip of the ball at the 2-yard line. Or actually the 1.
Well, and really, if you want to have a ball intercepted, that was almost the perfect place to do it at.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if that would have been incomplete, that would have been an interesting choice for Clayton Ridge. Do you go for it on 4th and 18, or you try to pooch punt it down inside the 10-yard line?
Big time out there for the Edco Vikings, and let's once again thank those Edco sponsors for making tonight's broadcast possible. Community Insurance, Cornerstone Family Practices in Gothenburg Municipal Hospital, D&M Construction, Edgewood Auto and Tire, Edgewood Convalescent Home, Lincolnwood Assisted Living, Edgewood Building Center, Schrader Cash Supply, Edgewood Seed Mill, and Farmers Savings Bank. 5:24 to go in the contest. Edco here, they got to get some breathing room and get a punt off or run the clock out.
First down would be awfully big right now for the Vikings.
I'm thinking they're about
need to protect the ball, can't get dumped in the end zone. I mean, there's a lot of risk in this series.
I think Edco's about 3 first downs away from winning the ball game, but that's 3 big first downs, and none of them bigger than this one right here. Ball tips the ball inside the 2-yard line. The backs are in the backfield. 3 of them lined up behind the quarterback. Out of that pistol, handoff right side. There's some conflict. It's going to be a tension. Yeah, there's a little conflict in the backfield. A little bit of a collision. The quarterback and the left halfback collide shoulders, and they bounce down, and it is a sack right in front of the goalpost. So now Clayton Ridge up 15-14.
And it looked like there was a host of Clayton Ridge players in the end zone. Jonathan Place looked to me like he was the one that, after the collision, caused the confusion. And Edco now down a point and will have to kick the ball to Clayton Ridge.
2-point safety. Clayton Ridge has got the ball here with 5:18 to go.
And just a horrific way to fall behind.
That's tough. That's a tough one. And how do you coach that? You know, what do you think? How do you prepare your defense for that? What do you say to your corners?
And, you know, this is after the fact, but as the timeout was going on back in the 60s, Iowa State football coach Clay Stapleton, he would have punted that automatically, even on first down.
Oh, really?
You know, I mean, the game's changed in 50 years.
Yeah.
You know, they used to make fun of him for punting on third down even when there was a long situation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And Clayton Ridge didn't have anybody back, but he didn't have a lot of room to punt either. You know, probably not cross anybody's mind to do something like that. It's still tough. You know, Nesker was down. He was just coming back from the injury, and the offensive guys bumped in the backfield, and that allowed Clayton Ridge to get in for safety. I'm trying to recall the last time I saw a game won on a safety.
For the safety, gave you the 2 points.
Yeah.
For the winning score was a safety.
Yes.
That just doesn't happen very often, does it? The Vikings elected for the free kick here. They're standing back at the 15-yard line.
They have an interesting lineup. They have 8 guys on the line.
End-over-end kick's going to bounce way back.
Everybody lets it go, and now the guy falls down to get it. That's back for Clayton Ridge, and that's Ethan Cook.
So that's a pretty good kick there from 25 to 25. That's
I'm not too sure you couldn't have drawn that up any better if
No, absolutely not here.
I'm not sure why Clayton Ridge had everybody. He had 8 out of the 11 guys up. The 2 guys back got split by the ball, and then Cook kind of got lost in the ball bouncing, and he, I think, probably smartly fell on it as opposed to try to pick it up and drop it.
Interesting. 2 interesting plays here. The first one, 3 of them actually. You know, you got the interception at the 2. You got the safety. Now you got this free kick that worked out very well for Edco. Wide outs to both sides. Single back in the backfield. They sit at the 24-yard line. Blitz off left guard tackle gap and trying to strip that ball once again, as the Vikings have done very, very well.
And of course the clock begins to work in Edco's disadvantage. Rassetter, they're up for about a 4-yard game. Mosher with the tackle for Edco.
Under 5 minutes to go here from Clayton Ridge High School in Guttenberg. It's 15-14. We're right on the Mississippi River. Only that separates us between this field and the river is a nice dike across the way. A little parking there for some of the fans' cars.
So a big series for Edco here. They still have 2 timeouts left. And now, as opposed to hurrying up, Clayton Ridge has slowed it down a little bit as they try to get the clock as low as it can go and keep the ball as long as they can.
Edco with 2 timeouts left with 4:40 to go. They got to stop without a first down here. Second down and 6 from the 27. Twins to both sides, just spreading out that defense. Quarterback drops back to pass. Left side flat's going to be caught. Squares up, then drops. Incomplete. Or did he catch it? He did catch it.
He got it, go forward. That was Rassetter for a pickup by
some more Rassetter. It's going to be now third down and short yardage.
And that was an interesting call, 2nd and 8.
That play's been there for them. They just haven't executed it very well. Those passes off some flats with that slot back. Been open. Moser hasn't covered him.
Moser struggled to get back, but he's 3 for 4 in the half passing.
3rd and 2 from the 32. 3:55 to go. Edco shows blitz. Linebackers do blitz. They hand it up the middle. Going to be stood up and dropped. No gain on the play. Decision time here. 4th down with 3:46 to go.
It'd be hard to figure out who made the tackle on that play for Edco, but
that's one of
7 white shirts coming out of the pile.
That's one of those team capitals. How do you determine that?
It looks to me like the bottom of the pile was 24, Joshua Himes. Raffsetter with the run, and it brings up 4th and 2 for Clayton Ridge. You almost have to punt the ball here.
4th and 2 here. Now this is where you take a hard snap and maybe get them offside and you win the ball game on it.
And again, Edco is not sending a player deep. Now,
Clayton Ridge going for it. Looks like they're going for it, actually. Well, back about 8 yards.
Yeah.
It's like he's in that quasi area where, like, I don't know.
And here comes the big rush.
He could have got a hand up there and blocked it, actually. Kick's going to go dead at the 35.
And again, 27 stops at Alexander Simon. And it looked to me like there was a little jersey grab there on the bull rush. Most got in, but he got grabbed.
I thought that he was going to actually get a hand up there, and then
I don't think he could.
He jerked back.
I think there was a handful of jerseys. One of the blocked his hands. 2:50 now.
Boy, this is an exciting ball game tonight. Does Edco have enough firepower to score from 75 yards out? Actually, 65. They're at the 35. And so here we go.
65 yards and 170 seconds.
Wide out to both sides. Pass going to be incomplete. Parsons blocks. Got a hand on it. So that one gets
a rush. There was 7 guys from Clayton Ridge closer to the ball than the first Edco guy. It was lucky that it was probably hitting the turf.
2:46 to go. Here's double slot formation. Quarterback pass left side flat's going to be caught and goes down to his knees, picks up 5. Not going to stop the clock. And it's going to be a pickup of 5 on the play. Huge 3rd down and 5 here. 5 yards will get you first down, 4 won't. 2:27 to go now and counting. Edco with 2 timeouts. Double slot again, ball in here. Hash mark from our right to our left, the Vikings are. Looks from the outside linebacker, pass right side flat, it's going to be incomplete. Brings up now 4th down.
I think you have to go for it.
4th down, 15-14 our score here with 2:14 to go in the contest. Ball in the near hash mark.
Nusker is in the game, haven't running since he hurt his ankle on the last series. And the crowd's definitely silent here.
Pass left side flat's going to be incomplete. And that, well, Edco has 2 timeouts left. But boy, 2:11 to go here. They can stop the clock twice.
And with 2 timeouts, you could get the ball back. And Clayton Ridge really doesn't need to do too fancy of a thing. They can run off tackle and sit on the clock for, probably 45 seconds here. That'll get them.
It's close. It's going to be really close. Yeah, it's going to get you really close here if they do that. Wide out to both sides. Edco's got to go for the strip here. Flag call. Stop the clock. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 players on the field. Well, that's one way of stopping a defense.
And that's only successful if they don't count
6,
very well.
8, 10, 12 guys in the field. Yeah.
Second time they've been.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 12 guys out there. Now one goes off. Okay. All right, they got it straight down. 2:11 to go here. 2:11 to go in the game here. 15-14. Clayton Ridge came back from behind with that safety. Ball in their hash mark. And off to the right side. Raffsetter with the carry. Fumble on the play, though. And I think Clayton Ridge held on to it. Yeah, how many fumbles have we had tonight?
We've had 7.
7 fumbles.
And Clayton Ridge will take a timeout. Their second down and 1 now, though. So a tough situation for Edco. Boy, they're going to lament a couple plays, and they both involve safeties. They had the Clayton Ridge guy back in the end zone. The next play runs 88 yards for a touchdown. They make a nice interception. The next play they get tackled in the end zone for a safety, and they're down 1.
This game could have been just a quirk. I'm going to call it a quirky game. It just plays that you would never typically see in a season happen tonight.
Well, certainly when you talk about turnovers, we've had our share in this game from both teams. Both teams benefited offensively from getting the ball in really good field position. Really, Edco's drive in the second half was the best drive of the game when they marched down the field on their second possession in the third quarter to take the lead.
2:01 to go in the contest. Again, this is non-district, actually, but sure you like to win it. But no matter what, I think Edco could take a lot of enthusiasm into next week's game, next week's practice.
And if they get a first down here, they can kneel.
2nd and 1 here from the 31. Quarterback drops back, and he's down. Oh, a face mask. Yeah, quarterback pumped once, and they got him on a face mask. Edco they really didn't need to face mask him either.
Well, and dropping back, what's that? Second one, you can run the clock out if you gain a yard. You have 3 plays to do it in, and you roll your quarterback back. Thank you for grabbing my face mask.
Yeah, it's automatic first down. That should do it, shouldn't it?
That one timeout, it'd be awfully close.
Yeah, unless Clayton Ridge keeps trying to pass.
Right.
Then all bets are off as far as things go here. But that's going to be a big play. That's 15 yards. That takes the ball down into the 21-yard line. So 1:56 to go in the game, 15-14 our score.
And there's luck and there's bad luck.
Yeah.
You make a great play on the interception, it leads to a safety that costs you the lead. And now you have a guy run a play that you'd have 3rd and 10 instead of 3rd and 1. And you grab the face mask.
Hand up inside, there's no gain on the plates. Now they're going to keep it really, really conservative here.
But even that was kind of
not
really play. Yeah.
Not traditional. It's not traditional. Give the quarterback the ball and drop down. And
right.
No, that was just kind of a Edco calls or uses their last time out here.
Bergen on that.
It's 1:41 to go in the contest right now. 15-14. And that lightning movement. We dodged the first bullet. The second group's probably going to miss it too. But
well, Edco has to feel like they were hit by lightning a couple of times. Game in hand almost. It was still a close game, but you know what? How they lost the lead is just unfortunate.
When you're trying to get things turned around, though, when you're in a situation to win a ball game, you got to know how to win a ball game, and that's part of the learning. Right.
They haven't been in that situation.
They haven't. No, they've got to learn that. Yeah, that's the next step. I mean, if they're doing things the right way, play here or there, and they would have won this ball game.
And I suppose the perspective the coaches have to take to practice Monday and say, we don't ever want to lose, but losing by 1 is way better than losing by 50, like we did last year.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with you.
And both teams are, I'm sure, going to stress holding on to the ball when they get to practice next week.
So here we go under center of the quarterback with 1:41 to go here. And they drop down finally. Whistle sound. Should be a continuous clock here, I would think, right now.
And another run that time for Bergen.
And so Edco, with no timeouts left, down by 1, 1:19 to go in the game.
Short game for the Eagles.
3rd down and 9. Eagles. They can let this one run down there. Edco still might get that ball back.
I can run it down, let him go ahead and take the penalty.
As far as you can here. Well, Edco will get the ball back. If they hike the ball here, it's 55 and too much time, they will take the penalty. Now that's going to stop the clock here, so that Edco, if they run the clock down 45 seconds, they're going to get the ball back with less than 10 seconds to go.
Well, it's still 3rd down. So they'll run a play,
right.
take a knee.
About it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be it here. What a great game, though, for the Vikings as far as first season. You know, coming in here, trying to get things turned around.
Well, really a good game for both teams. They made some mistakes. They overcame them. And both teams battled till the end. And just the bounce of the ball almost caused the difference in the game.
A handoff inside, breaks one tackle, and a second, and a third. On his way toward the end zone, he's at 10-5. Knocked out of bounds here.
Nice run by Rathstetter.
Inside the 5-yard line.
Nice pickup for him up about 24 down to about 3, so give it a 21-yard gain and the first down.
Within 3 yards here, 15-14 with 44 seconds to go here. That one just got away from them. We hope you guys that are listening on YouTube tonight are enjoying your broadcast.
Good formation for Clayton Ridge.
44 seconds to go here, 15-14 our score. Quarterback keeper tucks it up inside the left guard tackle gap, heads toward the end zone. He's going to be short. So it was at the 3.
More with the keeper.
More with the carry.
Down to about 1. And we'll see what Clayton Ridge's disposition is here. I think gain more respect by taking a knee than you do by scoring a meaningless touchdown at the end of the game.
15-14. 17 seconds to go in the contest. Clayton Ridge gained their composure. They got rattled a little bit. They got a sophomore quarterback in there. I'm impressed with the line for Clayton Ridge. Impressed that Edco's, they've got some style. They've got some confidence out there.
No need to stamp the ball here. We'll see if they do.
You snap the ball, you risk a fumble. Okay, that should do it here. The quarterback drops back and needs now bring our game to a close.
Nice move by Clayton Ridge at the end. Harbaugh with a good call. That always is a good indication of how classy a program you have.
Absolutely.
And Harbaugh did the right thing there.
Clayton Ridge jumped out to a 13-0 lead here in the first quarter, scoring their last touchdown, an 80-yard run as time expired. But then Edcock answered back with 2 scores of their own and took the lead 14 to 13. But then that unfortunate safety in the fourth quarter, and that is the difference, 15-14. Dan, anything else to say?
Well, and it really is a result of a great defensive play to intercept the ball.
Right.
Down at 2. Both teams, I think, probably have a lot of work on in practice next week, but they have a lot of positives they can hang their hat on. It's, it'll be a good week of coaching for both teams. They have things they can work on, and they have things they can improve on, but both coaches have to be happy with the players' intensity at the game. Neither side ever gave up. Both of them had an opportunity to, and bad things happened to them, and they didn't. So 2 fun teams. I hope we see them down the road. They both played real hard tonight.
Next week, Clayton Ridge will be at Starmont, and Edco will have their home opener against MFL Marmac. So for Dan McLean, this is Kevin Chuckman. Good night, everybody, and thanks for listening. You're listening to 4.7 FM, KMCH.